and welcome inside Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark, a new place that Dylan and I have not yet experienced, the home of the Peninsula Oilers down on the Kenai Peninsula and home of tonight.
Faced many times here in 2024.
And the first game was their season opener back against Chugiak almost 2 weeks ago. This is the home opener for the Peninsula Oilers. They played their season opener at Herman Brothers, and now they finally returned to their friendly confines to face the first of 5 straight games against these Matsu Miners. Well, we were in the car for about 4 hours today driving down here, and we are raring to go. But before that, let's take a trip to the past, back to a couple days ago at the end of the MLB Showcase, the finale between these two very teams where the Miners came out on top. Here's some highlights. It's another beautiful sunny day in Anchorage, Alaska. Mulcahy Stadium playing host to the third and final day of the MLB Showcase. Within that, the third and final game between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. The Miners acting as the home team today. Charlie Fellows and Dylan Simmons here on the call, wishing everyone out there a happy Father's Day. To any fathers who might be watching on their sons playing in this game.
Now it's Kyle McCausland at the plate. One away. This is going to be lined into center field. Another base hit. Perez coming around to third. Now he wants home. The throw is going to be high and close, but not in time. Perez scores, and Matsu is on the scoreboard. 1-0 Miners. Maybe the most important pitch of the game coming up for Peninsula. From Bauer, this is a fly ball to center field. Robson is right there. He'll make the catch. A run's going to come home for the Miners and score easily. The Oilers just trying to protect third base. They will, but the runner who scores for Matsu is going to be Logan Vaughn. So the Miners now with a 2-0 lead.
A 1 on the ground to second base, and that's going to be stopped by Soto, but he's not going to be able to make a play. That was again in the sun a little bit. He get a little awkward dive to knock it down, but by the time he got it in his glove, everybody was at their respective base. Brandon Duran comes in to make this a 3-0 ball game.
Trying to get one last thing to put on that highlight reel in front of the scouts.
Fleck, and he struck him out. Wilcox thought he had ball 4, but he sits down. A positive end to this game for the Oilers, but it's a game they lose by a score of 3-0. The third game they've lost in as many tries against Matsu, but that will conclude this weekend's action of the MLB Showcase, and what a weekend it was. The Miners with 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 tie. The win coming to end it, and hopefully that will be the momentum they need as they head down to Kenai to face off against these very Oilers in a 5-game set, which will start on Tuesday. Well, Dylan, that was the end to a very successful weekend. Might not be reflected exactly in the 1-1 record that the Miners managed, but of course that record doesn't matter. The players got a ton of experience, exposure in front of the scouts, and that's going to be valuable for them in the future and also
throughout the rest of this season.
Well, one of the names you mentioned there, Christian Perez, is one that you're going to be hearing a little bit more during this pregame show because he was named the first Matsu Miners Player of the Week for the games that he had played in the ABL season thus far. He arrived in the middle of the season, is hitting .333. That's the best average on the team, and he was the clear-cut favorite in our humble opinion, and we are the entirety of the award committee. I got a chance to talk with Christian before the game about it and about his experience in Alaska so far, so have a listen. All right, what's going on, Miners Nation? We've got Christian Perez here, the first Player of the Week honoree on the Matsu Miners. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie. How are you doing?
I'm great as well, and part of the reason is because this backdrop behind you, I don't know if you've noticed, but this doesn't really look like Palmer.
It's awesome.
How is for the background people who are not already watching the pregame show, watching this on YouTube, this is the first day we just got to Kenai where the Peninsula Oilers play. This is going to be the first of a 5-game road trip, and this was the culmination of a 4-hour drive down from Palmer. And how did that go for you?
It was a pretty long ride, but I think getting here and seeing Beagle Hall, I'm just really excited about this week and what we're gonna do.
And you're from Arizona.
Yes, sir.
So, you ever seen any view quite like this?
No, not really. This is pretty amazing. I really love the beach, so this is gonna be awesome.
What kind of beaches have you been to prior to this?
Mostly California, beaches like that. But this is definitely something new to me, especially the mountains. The scenery looks crazy.
Well, you're the honorary Player of the Week because of your performance in the first week and change. We had to give it at the end of the week, and it was kind of uneven. But the first week plus, which makes it all the more of an honor for you to win. You joined the team after the first day, and you're still batting. You're batting .333, which is the best batting average on the team. You've driven in a lot of runs. How has that been, just kind of integrating to this team after the season already started, essentially?
Oh, it's been awesome. Just getting to know the guys and everybody. Everybody's just been very welcoming, and I really love this team and where we're going.
What was the process like meeting the guys? Did you talk to anybody before you got here and get to know them?
No, everybody was just new to me, and like anybody who I talk to, they're just awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited.
So just a little background about you. You're from Grand Canyon University.
Yes, sir.
What kind of goals do you have with this season and then beyond it? What are you hoping to do with this experience this summer?
I'm just trying to enjoy as much as I can. I entered the transfer portal last week, and I'm heading to Sacramento State, which I'm very excited about. And
congratulations.
Yeah, I'm really excited about where that's going to take me.
All right, well that is excellent. So with the Peninsula Oilers coming up, you're playing. Are you in the lineup for tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right. What are you thinking? We played the team already a couple times and it hasn't really been an issue, but how do you think that's going to go this week?
Hopefully we're able to win all the games. That's our goal. But yeah, hopefully if we can, hopefully win the series at least.
All right, well that's the hope too. All right, Christian Perez, everyone. It's so nice to get to talk to you. And enjoy the game, everyone. Back to you. He's a great guy to talk to. He's having a good time, clearly, as are all of us. The Miners are 4-1, hoping to improve on that record here today. And what's their lineup going to be?
Yes, so for the Matsu Miners tonight, leading off will be Dom Patrizzi playing second base for the Miners. At shortstop, it's going to be Ryan Richard taking back over. Christian Perez is back at third base. Then it's Kyle McCausland in left field, Nick Ferry at first base, Chase Wilcox, the designated hitter, Logan Vaughn back behind the dish, Kellen Strohmeyer in right field, Drake Kerr back in center field, and Ryan Peterson, the Sam Houston man, on the bump for the Miners.
He started the season opener in Chugiak, and now he starts the other road game Matsu has played. On the Peninsula side, Petey Soto leads off at short, Kyle McDaniel at second, Colin Robson out in center field, Elijah Vogelsong Lewis to his left, Ty Thomas at third base, Zachary Ferris at first, Cole Dawson the designated hitter, Brock Worthgen the catcher, Aiden Sullivan out in right, and Eddie Leon the pitcher. First time the Miners have faced him this season. Well, our side of this break, it's Matsu Miners baseball further south than we've been this entire season. First of 5 here in Kenai. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the land of salmon and sea, Kenai, Alaska. We are just about set to get things rolling in the Alaska Baseball League once again as the Peninsula Oilers play host to your Matsu Miners. What's going on, everyone? Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows joining you live from Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark as it's time to see if the Miners can reel in a win or if the Oilers can play the whale to Matsu's Jonah.
Now it's the first road game Matsu has played since opening day, and it is the first home game that Peninsula has played all season. They started their season at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer and had a long road trip to start, but they're finally back. Their fans have come out in full force. We saw a mascot earlier, which will almost certainly walk in front of the camera at some point. It's going to be a great day.
That mascot's name is Scoop, and he is certainly going to make sure to make an impact on tonight's game as much as he can. But speaking of making an impact, Matsu is going to be looking to do that on offense. They've been incredible offensively against these Oilers so far this season. In their 2 ABL contests, they have scored 9 and 10 runs against this defense. Now they'll look to do something similar tonight and spoil the home opener for Peninsula.
And they'll look to do it with a lineup of Dom Patrizzi, Ryan Richard, Christian Perez, Kyle McCullough.
Chopper foul to the left of the third base bag. Count goes to 0-1. On the mound for Peninsula for the first time against Matsu this season is Eddie Leon.
Yeah, Leon out of Miami, Florida, Marshall University. 15.58 ERA and 8 2/3 innings pitched with the Thundering Herd.
He has the most innings pitched for Peninsula this year. That all coming in one appearance in a June 12th win over the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. 1-1 count here. Another bouncing ball to third. Throw to first is going to be in time for out one easily. Nice play by Ty Thomas, the man in the hot corner.
And that appearance was a brilliant one. He pitched 7 innings, allowed just 1 run. He's one of only 4 pitchers in the ABL this season who qualifies for the ERA title with an ERA of 0.00, the only one on the staff for Peninsula. So just the man you want your home fans to see.
One of the other ones in that same measurement is Jack Hostetler of Matsu fame. Meanwhile, here comes Ryan Reich. A 1-1 here. Off-speed pitch, but it goes in for a strike. Count goes to 1-2. Miners' lone loss was to the Anchorage Bucks, 10-9. That's a fastball inside, and it's going to be ball 2. Count goes to 2-2 for Richard. Otherwise, the Miners have been picture perfect in terms of record so far this season. Another 2-2, check swing, and it's going to be just away. Called for a ball, and the count runs full. 3-2 count for Richard with 1 out. Trying to get Matsu on the board for the first time today. Here's a foul ball to the right of the first base bag, as it was Ferris who was trying to clean it up. Count will stay full. Ryan Richard looking to add to his stat total. Like we mentioned, he has several incredible marks this year. Already 6 total hits for the team. That's tied for the lead, and also 2 RBIs. Payoff pitch, and it's going to be right to the second baseman on the ground. Throw to first is in time. A 4-3 put out for the Oilers. Kyle McDaniel and Zachary Ferris hooking up 2 away.
Apologize for my silencer in that inning. We've just been troubleshooting with some tech stuff. We're trying to learn a new setup here in a new ballpark, but seems like everything is now in better working order. Apologies.
Here comes Christian Perez to the plate, the third baseman for Matsu. 2 quick outs for the Oilers, both on ground balls. Perez, the man in the hot corner today. And he's going to foul this one directly into the cage. Count goes to 0-1.
If you didn't get to watch my interview with Christian Perez, the reigning Matsu Miners Player of the Week, during the pregame show, you can watch it after the game. It'll get posted as a separate clip on YouTube.
Here's going to be a chopper to the second baseman, picked up and thrown to first, and that is going to be a 1-2-3 inning for the Peninsula Oilers defense. Kyle McDaniel and Zachary Ferris getting a couple of 4-3 putouts. Matsu comes up empty, and we're on to the bottom half of the first. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. welcome back to Kenai, Alaska, Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows joining you here this evening. It is 0-0 between your Miners and the Oilers in their third game of the ABL season, their fourth game overall. Just played on Sunday in the MLB Showcase, Matsu winning that game 3-0. And combined in the 3 games that they've played Peninsula so far this year, they have 22 runs. The Oilers have just 3.
Matsu, of course, being the one that has scored 22 runs. Peninsula has struggled to score against really everybody in the ABL, but especially these Miners. And Ryan Peterson has not faced off against the Oilers, but he did start the first game of the season for Matsu. In that appearance, he was very effective, had got the win for that. 4 innings, allowed just 1 hit, no runs.
Starting pitcher in that first game against Chugiak, like you mentioned, he did a sensational job. The man out of Sam Houston in Shiner, Texas, so far has not given up a run this season. One of the perfect ERAs that Matsu has to their benefit, and he's going to try to do his best to limit the Oilers' offensive attack. He'll be facing down in order of Petey Soto, Kyle McDaniel, and Colin Robson to lead things off. 1, 2, 3 for Peninsula. And the defensive lineup for Matsu looking like this. Nick Ferry at first, Christian Perez third, Ryan Peterson on the bump, Logan Vaughn the catcher, Ryan Richard at short, Don Patrizzi second, Kellen Strohmeyer in right, Drake Kern center field, Kyle McCausland in left field. So here comes Petey Soto, who has been the traditional shortstop for Peninsula this year, and has done a pretty effective job at getting a few putouts on Matsu. Now let's see if he can give the Oilers the early lead.
Soto hitting .231 this season. Has not driven in a run.
This pitch by Peterson low for ball number 1.
In that matchup in the MLB Showcase a couple days ago, Soto was the only one on this lineup who was able to get multiple hits.
1-0 count. That's a fastball a little bit high for ball number 2. Soto out of Utah Tech for the Oilers. He has made an immediate impact offensively and defensively for that matter. Very balanced player. This ball popped up. It's going to land somewhere up and over the crowd and up and over the press box. Count goes to 2-1.
I think I actually heard it hit the top. It's a very, you can't really hear it right now because the camera is on our side of the glass, but it is a very cold, very windy day. And that's definitely going to affect the action here.
Yeah, that's a great point, partner. It's about 53 outside right now as that one finds the zone for a strike. And the wind has certainly been very, very present thus far today. We felt it immediately as soon as we got down here to the Peninsula. And it could very well play a role in this game as you see some of the trees shaking behind the outfield wall. 2-2 count. That pitch up and inside for ball 3.
Yeah, it's a good 10-15 degrees colder here than it would be at this time up in Palmer, right near the ocean. The park itself isn't, but the place where the player's staying is very
Payoff
pretty.
pitch, a ball popped up into shallow left field. Richard wants it. It drifts towards the infield. He makes the catch. 1 away. So a quick out for Matsu. They take care of Petey Soto on a popped up ball to short. That'll send on Kyle McDaniel, who has worked in many positions against Matsu this year. He's been in the hot corner once, and now he's the second baseman in this game.
Versatile defender, but so far has not made an impact with his bat against the Miners or anybody else. He is 0 for 11 this season, has walked twice, but one of the poster children of this Peninsula Oilers' offensive struggles early on.
Oilers in 4 games with 9 total runs, a 189 average as a team, and 1 home run. That did come against Matsu. That was Colin Robson who had the homer as Peterson fits in a strike and the count goes to 1-1.
One of the strangest trends this season, there have only been 3 home runs hit in the entire ABL. The best offense in the ABL has not hit 1, but they have allowed 2 of them.
That ball fouled. It's going to go up and almost out of the ballpark, and it does. Count goes to 1-2 for Kyle McDaniel. And yeah, it's interesting to note, Matsu has not succeeded in the home run ball yet, but Peninsula, a team that has gotten one off of them this season, and they'd love to do that again at home.
They also play in a park with a very close fence.
This ball is fouled off of McDaniel. Matsu tried to play it anyway, just in case. Count will stay at 1-2, and you talked about those dimensions. It's 307 to dead center field, so that increases the likelihood that we could see a homer today. better opportunity for some of these power hitters, and we know that both teams have those in spades. Big 1-2 early. Pitch by Peterson is in there for a strike. Got him looking. A first strikeout of the day for Ryan Peterson is on Kyle McDaniel, 2 down. That was a beautiful fastball, his specialty, and he dialed it up perfectly on McDaniel. And now here comes Colin Robson, the lone man with a home run from the Oilers against Matsu this year.
Peterson was great against Chugiak, but he only had 1 strikeout in those 4 innings. He's already equaled that here.
That ball is going to be fouled off to bring it to a quick 0-1. His teammate, Noah Kendrick, number 32 on the team, is a strikeout master for Matsu, whereas with Peterson, it's a bit more cerebral. Not quite as flashy, but he gets the job done and does it very effectively. 0-1 count. As we've mentioned, in his 1 appearance, he did not allow a run, so as of right now, that perfect ERA still stands. Count is 1-1 on the center fielder.
To the family of Luke Smith in the YouTube chat, thank you for the congratulations on the Celtics winning the NBA Finals. We appreciate it.
Oh, that was a special night last night, watching the Celtics climb up the mountaintop and make it to the NBA championship mark they have been so long chasing after. 2-1 count here. And who knows, maybe Matsu will join him in the near future, as that one finds the zone for a strike. Count evens at 2-2.
It's apparently a good year for teams wearing green, based on the only evidence I have being the Celtics. I don't know off the top of my head if there are any other green teams that have won.
As that ball is going to be fouled, hey, I hope that trend also holds up for the Packers, too. A fan of Packers I am as well, so that would be nice if they could get it. But, yeah, it could be the year of the green. Perhaps Matsu will join Boston in the championship column soon enough. But as for right now, they've got to find a way to get past Peninsula in the home opener. 2-2 count to Robson. Pitch on the way from Peterson. This ball is flown out and fouled towards the right field area. Count stays at 2-2. You saw some of the power off the bat that time from Robson. Just couldn't get it going in the right direction. But still one of the top power hitters that Peninsula possesses. The 2-2. Pitch by Peterson. That's well inside at the knees of Robson. Count goes full for the 2nd time in this inning.
Robson hits for power. He also hits for average. He's 4th in the ABL with a .385 batting average. He's also the best non-acreage buck in that category.
The 3-2. And it's going to be a walk. So the first base runner of the day goes to the Oilers on a walk issued by Ryan Peterson. So a runner on first, and that'll send on Elijah Vogelsong, and perhaps Peninsula can get some business going here.
You remember the last time these teams faced, the Oilers jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the top of the first.
For Ryan Peterson, that is going to be one of only a few walks that he's been able to issue this year, or that he has issued this year, I should say. So runner on first is Colin Robson. Vogelsong at the plate. Pitch by Peterson is high, and that's ball 1.
Peterson had 1 in that outing against Chugiak.
That's only his 2nd walk of the year in 4 2/3 innings pitched. Trying to avoid issuing another one and locking down this inning.
Vogelsong Lewis hitting .375 on a limited sample size of just 8 at-bats. He's only played in 2 games, but when he has appeared, he has been effective.
He's been very good against Matsu so far this season. That's been one of his calling cards. Trying to do it again right here at home. 1-1 count. That goes a little bit outside, and like we've said before, this is the home opener for the Peninsula Oilers, so that adds some extra motivation if it is needed for this team to come out and deliver a win.
Definitely a lot of fans out here. It's cold, windy, but that has not stopped the Kenai faithful from coming out in droves.
Kenai crowd has made their way out here. This is a high fly ball deep to right field, and it's going to land at the base of the wall. Coming around is Robson to home plate, and he is going to not be able to make it in time. What a throw from right field by Kellen Strohmeyer. The relay works to perfection, and we are still scoreless. We'll be back for the top half of the 2nd inning. Dramatic defensive play by Matsu. Miners will be back up to bat when we return. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call with you this evening. It is 0-0 between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers as Kyle McCausland comes to the plate. Eddie Leon still on the mound as the count goes to 0-1 on a strike. Matsu faced a 1-2-3 inning against the Oilers defense last time up, trying to change that here. This ball is going to be grounded to the third baseman. Throw to first is in time easily. Another 5-3. Ty Thomas and Zachary Ferris linking up, one away.
Not only has Leon gotten every minor out so far, they've all been ground outs. There were some longer at-bats in the first inning, but still, that is the picture of efficiency if you want to go deep into a game.
So far, this Oilers infield defense has been playing very effectively. That's one thing that cost them in the first game against Matsu. They committed 5 errors against the Miners, and Matsu feasted on those mistakes. This pitch is high. It is now Nick Ferry in the batter's box. Count goes to 1-0. Miners entering today with a total batting average of .205 on the team. As that pitch gets by, count goes to 1-0, .206 rather. Pitch on the way from Leon. High again. And that's quickly going to bring the count to 3-0.
Ferris drawn 3 walks this season.
Could be on the verge of number 4. Leon trying to work fast. This time it is going to find the zone just barely at the top. Count goes to 3-1.
.231 average, 1 run batted in.
Let's see what Leon has in store here. And this time he cannot find the zone, so Ferry on to first base with a walk. The first base runner of the day for Matsu is also via walk, much like the Oilers. Runner on first, 1 out. Chase Wilcox now coming to the plate for Matsu, the DH tonight. And now the Oilers have to keep a close eye on Ferry, who could attempt to steal base here if he feels the opportunity presents itself. Chase Wilcox has been absolutely red hot these last few games. He had a sensational outing against Peninsula on Thursday, and the Miners' last ABL game had 2 doubles and 5 total RBIs. He was involved in 7 of the runs scored for Matsu of their 10 that they were able to deliver that day. And that was also on his birthday, so it was a very memorable day for more reasons than one.
With that walk, Leon does move into the club lead, or a tie from the club lead in walks with 4 on the season.
That's a category he is trying to avoid. This is going to be a chopper right to the second baseman on the ground. Throw to first is executed perfectly, and that's 2 out. So advancing to second is Nick Ferry, but Wilcox is put down on a 4-3 putout. McDaniel and Ferris that time.
That's another ground out. There's not been a single fly out, line out, strikeout, or hit. There's just been 1 walk and a lot of balls on the ground.
Eddie Leon is doing a really sensational job early on of limiting Matsu's hitters, as now it'll be Logan Vaughn, the catcher, who is still looking for his first overall hit in ABL play. He did manage a couple in the MLB showcase. This is going to be a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 0-1.
He had a nice double down the left field line on that first day of the showcase when he had been 0 of 11, which is where his mark is in official ABL play, but he's gotten a couple hits since then.
He's got Ferry in scoring position here with 2 outs. This is going to be a chopper fouled off the plate. Count is quickly going to go to 0-2.
This is not the pitcher you want to face, though, if you're Vaughn. He doesn't strike out very much. He grounds out the vast majority of the time, and we've already seen the propensity Eddie Leon has for coaxing those.
Let's see if Logan Vaughn can potentially deliver a run for the Miners. It would be a sensational way to get that first ABL hit of the season. The 0-2, this ball flown out to right field, drifting towards foul ground, and it's going to go up and over the fence and into the Oilers' bullpen. Count will stay at 0-2.
That was hit well. It's probably the furthest he's hit a ball this season, so he does have that in him.
Yeah, we know that he's got a lot of power. We've seen it time and time again. He's flown out a few times here in 2024.
And he hit 6 home runs this season with Texas A&M Corpus Christi as well.
Exactly, and had a above 200 average for them. The 0-2 count, this is high for ball 1. Texas A&M Corpus Christi providing a couple of sensational players for Matsu. Drake Kerr also among those. He's number 9 in the order today. His teammate Logan Vaughn here at the plate, the number 7 man in the order. The 1-2. This ball fouled directly into the cage. You heard the ping as it bounced off. Count will stay at 1-2.
Well, the Miners haven't dropped 6 runs on Peninsula yet in any of the innings they've played, so the Oilers already doing better than they did last time.
That's the ideal start for Peninsula. Just try to limit this Matsu offense. Play your style of game. That's a breaking ball for a strikeout. It's the curveball special from Eddie Leon, and he is shutting down the Matsu Miners early on. Score still 0-0. We'll be back for the bottom half of the second inning. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call with you this evening. It's Miners and Oilers in game number 3 of the season in ABL play. Game number 4 overall between these two foes. And currently it is a 0-0 stalemate between these two teams, but we'll see if Ty Thomas, the third baseman, can change that. 5, 6, 7 due up in the order for Peninsula here in the bottom half of the second.
Potentially golden opportunity the Oilers had in the bottom of the first inning that was put to waste. Colin Robson decided to try to score all the way from first on a single hit by Elijah Vogelsong Lewis, which was ill-advised. He was thrown out by about 4 feet.
1-0 count. This ball flown out fair territory. Count's going to be 1-1 for Ty Thomas.
Thomas hitting 1 for 10 this season with 4 strikeouts, trying to find his groove at the plate. A Mount San Antonio College player, same as his coach.
As that's a low pitch in the dirt by Peterson. Count goes to 2-1.
6'3", 205 out of San Bernardino. Hit .302 with 2 home runs at Mount San Antonio. So normally a great hitter for average.
Trying to translate that here in the ABL season. There's the 2-2. Pitch by Peterson, breaking ball. He got him on the curveball looking. The second strikeout for Ryan Peterson here early on in this game. Takes out another one away.
That looked very high to me, but Peterson will take it. That's his new season high, beating the previous high of 1.
And the Sam Houston pitchers for Matsu showing their ability to strike out batters this season. He and Noah Kendrick have both been sensational in that department, especially against the Oilers. 0-1 count, as that one is going to be a strike. Check it, 0-1 count now against Zachary Ferris. First baseman at the plate. Pitch on the way from Peterson. This time he tries the fastball. It's low inside at the knees of Ferris. Count goes to side. Very similar, but a bit closer to the zone for Peterson. 2-1 count for Ferris.
So far this year he's 2 for 8, 250 average. Has not driven in a run or walked or struck out.
This is going to be a ground ball right to first base, and that's an easy out number 2. Miners with no issue here in the early going, 2 away.
And judging by what I just said, I think a lot of his plate appearances have looked a little something like that.
So Ferris, again, unsuccessful. Still trying to find that magic touch early on in the season. That'll send on Cole Dawson, the DH tonight. Another pretty effective hitter for Peninsula. Got a 250 average on the season for the Oilers. He has been struck out 3 times in 8 at-bats, and there's a strike. Count goes to 0-1.
Ryan Peterson cruising here without allowing a base runner
unlike in the first inning. It was that 2-out walk that almost resulted in a run, so that's what he wants to stay away from.
That pitch skips into the catcher Vaughn, and the count goes to 1-1. Brock Worthgen on deck for Peninsula. Should Dawson survive this at-bat? Peterson trying to ensure that doesn't happen. This is fouled into the netting. Another effective player for Peninsula, like we've mentioned, out of Arkansas Tech, and formerly from Russellville, played for the Edmonton Riverhawks in 2022 out of the West Coast League. Here's a curveball lifted high into the air, popped up to shallow left. Richard wants it. Richard gets it. Out number 3, and the Matsu Miners defense continues to cruise. No such dramatics this time as it was in the bottom half of the first. Score still 0-0. We'll be right back to Kenai. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Through 2 here at Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call with you this evening. It's the Miners and the Oilers in the first of 5 road games for Matsu in a row here at this historic ballpark. The Oilers celebrating their 50th season of ABL action. Matsu trying to spoil the home opener here tonight. Score still 0-0. It's been a duel of the pitchers, Eddie Leon and Ryan Peterson. And Leon on the mound here for Peninsula, taking on Kellen Strohmeyer, number 8 in the order for Matsu. This pitch inside for a ball. It'll be Strohmeyer, Kerr, and Patrizi leading off for Matsu in this frame.
It was this case a few times earlier in the season where the Miners needed a little bit to kickstart their offense, needed a few innings to just get on their feet, although in the
center field for a base hit. There's the offensive explosion we were looking for. Kellen Strohmeyer with a leadoff single here in the top half of the 3rd inning, and Matsu has a runner aboard.
That's the first hit for the Miners, 2nd overall between the two teams. But the first one who's allowed to remain on base because the Oilers' one hit was cut short after Colin Robson got thrown out at home.
So Strohmeyer delivers a leadoff single. That'll send on the 9-hole hitter Drake Kerr, playing his usual spot of center field in this game. Takes a pitch from Leon and lays down a bunt. Leon will try to throw to first in time. It is not going to be able to make it, and all the way on to 3rd now with Strohmeyer on the missed throw. It was mishandled by the first baseman Ferris, and Matsu has runners in the corners.
That looked like a bad throw to me. Leon, I'm not sure what happened there, just his mechanics weren't as solid as they needed to be, and it took the first baseman way off the bag. That results in runners on the corners here with nobody out. Just as I say it, the Miners finally in business.
So that should be the first error of the day, and it's going to be on the Oilers as we have Dom Patrizi at the plate, the team leader in so many offensive categories. Team leader in...
Chief among them runs batted in, and he can get another one right here.
Yeah, 9 total RBIs this season. Tied for the team lead in hits at 6. Runners in the corners, 1-0 count. Pitch from Leon. This ball lined towards right field. It is going to sit down and be fouled just barely.
Tom Patrizi, actually the top RBI man in all of the ABL with 9. Wilcox, Kerr, numbers 2 and 3 on that list, as you would expect. Matsu, having scored the most runs, has also driven in quite a few of them.
Patrizi has been struck out 3 times this season. Perhaps an opportunity for Leon. Here's a fly ball into shallow left field. Couple of Oilers down there, and the shortstop Soto makes the catch, 1 away. Runners stay on base.
Just a back-breaking plate appearance there. Patrizi just needed to hit a ball out of the infield to get the Miners on the board, but that is not a productive out for him.
So Patrizi now 0 for 2 at the plate this evening. Had a 5-3 ground out in his first at-bat and pops it up to the shortstop in his second. That'll send on Ryan Richard, a man with 5 hits of his own, or rather 6 hits of his own this season. Runners in the corners, pitch on the way from Leon. Showing bunt is Richard, lets it go by, ball 1. Count's going to be 1-0 for the man out of Baton Rouge Community College. 1-0 count and 1 out. Matsu trying to take the early lead here on the road against the Oilers. Here's the pitch. Another bunt is shown. The pitch goes by. It's in for a strike. So the count will go to 1-1 on Ryan Richard. Eddie Leon trying to avoid giving up his first run of the 2024 season.
It's an aggressive strategy trying to bunt in the classic suicide squeeze where the runner on third takes off before the ball even makes it to the plate under the hope that the batter is able to get their bat on it.
Yeah, it requires perfect execution to get it down correctly. The 1-2, this time he swings at it, and it's going to be fouled to actually throw to second base. Now they're going to go back to home plate. The ball bounces away, and a run scores for Matsu. Now going on to third for the Miners is going to be Checkett Kerr. And Matsu with a chaotic play as a run on the board.
That's another unearned run on a part of the Miners against the Oilers. Just a pattern that they cannot seem to avoid. This time it was the catcher, Brock Worthgen, on a bad throw into second base that allowed the ball to get away. Kellen Strohmeyer took advantage, and I'm actually surprised that Ryan Richard wasn't allowed to run down to first on that because it did not look like Worthgen handled the ball cleanly. And normally you're allowed to do that if they don't throw to first in time. So,
yeah, that's what confused me as well because I was keeping an eye on Richard and he was not taking off even though the ball was mishandled by the catcher Worthgen. And a run scores in a very bizarre fashion. So Christian Perez now at the plate for Matsu. Lets this pitch go by. Count's going to go to 0-1 here. So after that bizarre circumstance, Miners with the lead. Christian Perez, who we talked to pregame. Charlie had a nice interview with him. Lets this go by for an 0-2 count. If you saw that, you'll know that he's now announced his commitment to Sacramento State. Going to be a member of the Hornets in due time and is looking forward to contributing for a new school. And there's a strikeout looking as Eddie Leon able to amend for that previous mistake. But the Miners do put 1 run on the board in a chaotic fashion. It's Kellen Strohmeyer who's able to come home. Matsu on top, 1-0. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. We'll be right back for the bottom half of the 3rd inning. back to Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call with you this evening. It's the Miners and the Oilers in Game 1 of this 5-game road stretch for Matsu. Currently with a 1-0 lead over the Oilers after a chaotic top half of the third inning. And now the Oilers looking for a response. Brock Worthgen will be the leadoff hitter. It'll be 8-9-1 for Peninsula here in the bottom half of the third. So Worthgen at the plate. Ryan Peterson so far has had a pretty good game. 2 strikeouts, 1 walk issued, and no runs allowed, as well as no hits.
Worthgen is also 1 for 10 on the season, and a nice even, well, not nice, but even 100 batting average. Struck out 6 times, also walked twice. These stats might be inflated a little bit because of how disproportionately often the Oilers have played against the Miners and their relatively strong pitching staff. And also why their run differential is so much lower than everybody else's.
The 1-1 count. Peterson with the pitch. High fly ball deep to left field. McCausland going back, but he's going to make the catch. 1 away. Nice maneuver by Kyle McCausland to get after that baseball. 1 down.
Yeah, that was a very hard hit ball. The first one that's left the infield in a little bit. Never an issue for the Middlebury man, however.
Man out of Middlebury, Vermont, getting the out here. A fly out to left by Worthgen, and now Aiden Sullivan, the right fielder, will come on. Another lefty in the order for Peninsula. 1 away, pitch by Peterson, fastball, and low for ball 1. Average of .235 on base percentage.
Swarthmore men hit nearly 400 this collegiate season at college play. 5 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Batted in 5 against Gettysburg College.
As that pitch is low for ball number 2. Ryan Peterson so far with 2 1/3 innings pitched. He has done a good job of managing the Oilers lineup in his first time ever seeing them on the baseball diamond. This pitch is high for ball number 3, and all of a sudden, he is in danger of issuing a second walk to Peninsula.
Robson drew one back in the first, and we know what happened next.
Big 3-1. Pitch on the way from Peterson. This is going to be a chopper right to the first baseman, and it is going to be cleaned up by Nick Ferry. 2 away quickly on an unassisted out at first base.
So we're 1 way through the lineup for Peninsula, and there have been just 2 balls that have left the infield. There was that long wall ball single by Vogelsong Lewis, and then the fly out to start this inning. So Peterson doing a great job preventing strong contact.
Lets this breaking ball go by for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. Ryan Peterson trying to maintain that consistency. Able to get out of that 3-1 to Aiden Sullivan. And now trying to end this inning. There's another curve.
Soto popped out to short to start the game. He's hit the Miners well when most of this lineup has not.
1-1 count. Pitch by Peterson. It's a fastball. This time it finds the mark. Right at the top of the zone. Count goes to 1-2. And he can potentially issue his 3rd strikeout of the game right here. Bring us to the top half of the 4th inning and maintain the 1-run lead for Matsu. Here we go. The big 1-2. Fastball lifted into shallow center. Drake Kerr camping under it. He makes the catch. Out number 3, and it's the Miners outfield who makes a mark here in this 3rd inning. Score still 1-0. Matsu on top. Charlie Fellows will take you through the middle 4 here in Kenai. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube.
Hello from the outer reaches of the Alaska Baseball League. It's action in Kenai. The Peninsula Oilers with their home opener. They trail the Matsu Miners, as they so often have this season, by a score of 1-0 as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Charlie Fellows, Dylan Simmons taking you through this action with Kyle McCausland, Nick Ferry, and Chase Wilcox due up here in the top of the fourth. It has been a somewhat muted offensive performance by Miners standards so far, but it's gotten the job done. Eddie Leon has 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 hit, but a pair of errors last inning, resulting in a run coming around to score that was not his fault. That's lifted into center field and caught on the run by Robson, 1 away.
Yeah, we've seen Kyle McCausland with some of those deep shots this year. Pretty well hit baseball this time, but Robson right in position to make the catch. And Eddie Leon, a guy who prides himself on being a great pitcher out of Miami, Florida, plays for Marshall like we've talked about. He was pretty good in spurts for Marshall this past season. And in high school, he was sensational. Talking about a guy who played at Christopher Columbus High School and did a great job of it. He was an honorable mention to All-Dade County, which is a pretty high standard when it comes to high school baseball.
One of the most populous counties in the country, so I'd imagine that is true. Nick Ferry was the first Miner to reach base today. He did so on a walk. He rips a grounder to first, diving stop, but he won't be able to make the play. No, he did, actually. He threw from the ground. It was tough to see because the sun was in the way, but Zachary Ferris, an incredible diving catch, flipped it to Leon as he was running to cover the bag, and that's an acrobatic second out.
Boy, what a play, and what a job by Leon to get to the bag that time. And how about the awareness of Kyle McDaniel, when Ferris first missed that baseball, to recover that thing in time to get Leon out. That is a big put out and a great way to help stymie this Matsu offense.
Okay, is that what happened? It went off his glove and into Ferris's, or into McDaniel's, excuse me.
I believe that is what happened there, yes.
Okay, it was tough to see. It was all kind of a sun-soaked blur. Anyway, here's Chase Wilcox, who's grounded out to second. The man that Oilers pitchers see in their nightmares. And he's down 1-2 here. Of course, had that monster game, as we alluded to before. 2 doubles, 5 runs batted in. The last time these two teams met in official ABL play. Earned him a post-game interview. Birthday congratulations. Just the kind of thing you want after a Matsu Miners win. Here's the 1-2. Chopped foul.
And here's the thing for a guy like Leon. We know that Chase Wilcox has a lot of potential and does a lot of great things when it comes to getting hits, but he's also struck out on nearly half his at-bats this year, so there's an opportunity, if you can get him in the right situation, to get a strikeout. He has struck out more than any other player on this Miners roster, so this could be a big chance for a guy who already has 3 Ks in this game.
Wilcox staying alive with 2 strikes for a while here, but not much longer. Or did he get a piece of it?
He did get a piece.
1 Leon. That will be strike 3. Finally winning the battle. A swinging strike and another lightning quick inning on the part of Eddie Leon. However, the Matsu Miners still with a 1-run lead. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball here on YouTube. Here's the bottom of the fourth in Kenai, Alaska. Peninsula Oilers trying to get on the board, and in so doing tie or take the lead against the Matsu Miners squad that has had their number so far in the early goings of the season. With the top of the order almost due up, 2-3-4, McDaniel, Robson, and Vogelsong Lewis against Ryan Peterson, beginning his fourth inning of work. He's allowed just one hit, and that was a technicality at that. A pair of strikeouts, a walk. Otherwise, he has been flawless. And McDaniel was his first strikeout victim. He takes ball one.
Just wanted to point this out. You see Christian Perez, the third baseman. You may not be able to see it on our screen, but he is bundled up. He's got a tarp over his face or some sort of face covering there. He is trying to battle this cold right now.
Popped him up. Here Perez is going to have to make a play with that thing covering his face, and he will. Right on the edge of foul territory. Near the gravel, he makes a catch for out number one.
Yeah, so I was just saying, this guy's got his face covered up. You know, he's from Arizona. He's not used to this cold. He said he liked it earlier on, but I'm not sure if he's enjoying it as much right now, but it didn't seem to stop him on that one. Great awareness. Good job chasing down that baseball and a big first out.
Well, Colin Robson would like a mulligan for how his experience went in the first inning. He walked, made it all the way around to third on a Vogelsong Lewis single, and then decided he would try to go for home. He hits that out into right field, going back, and that's over the fence. That's a home run. Colin Robson has done it again. He now has half of the total home runs in the Alaska Baseball League, and both of them at the expense of Matsu. The Peninsula Oilers have tied this game.
That now makes him the top ABL home run hitter with 2 this season. Colin Robson somehow, some way, able to find a way to hit the ball over the fence again against Matsu and against Ryan Peterson, of all pitchers, a guy who before that point had a perfect ERA on the season. That is no more.
That's the first earned run allowed by Peterson. And this is a 1-1 ball game with Elijah Vogelsong Lewis, who prior to that knock had the only hit of the game for Peninsula, despite what the scoreboard out in left field might say. Peterson's 0-1. Drops in a quick strike. It's all about how you rebound from something like that. All it takes is one misplaced pitch, and Colin Robson, one of the most terrifying hitters in the league so far, is going to make you pay. Kerr, now McCausland's got it, and that will be out number 2.
Going back to that Robson home run, that is just an emphatic statement by Peninsula and an explosive play that they really haven't had against Matsu this year. They've had runs scored here and there, but nothing quite like that outside of the Colin Robson home run we just witnessed. He had that one before, but the game was already virtually over. This is coming at a much earlier point in the game where it's still anybody's contest. That could be a huge play for this team.
Chopped to third by Ty Thomas. Perez throwing on, and he gets him to end the inning. But Colin Robson made the Miners fear him the first time he saw him, and now reminds them how terrifying he is. He has scored half of the total runs on the part of Peninsula against Matsu this season with 2 swings of his bat, and he has the Oilers locked up at 1. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball here on YouTube. fifth inning we go. 7-8-9 due up for Matsu, who have got a lead to reclaim after Colin Robson did what Colin Robson does for the first time in front of the home fans, who were all delighted to see it. The long ball makes it 1-1, and
The home run by Colin Robson in the last inning has to make them feel a lot better about their chances now and has to instill some new confidence into Eddie Leon. With the way the Oilers' offense has been against Matsu, giving up any sort of run feels like a big defeat in some ways. So the fact that they were able to get one back has probably reinstilled some confidence in this defense.
Leon has pitched well. He has 4 strikeouts. He's allowed just 1 hit, and the 1 run that Matsu has scored was not earned. But with the errors being such a consistent issue for Peninsula, not altogether out of the norm for a run to score because of it. 1-2 here for Vaughn. Another person who's probably not used to these temperatures, an Oklahoma native. 1-2 in the dirt.
He does go to college in a coastal city, though, Corpus Christi, so there's probably a little bit, if there is a slight bit of familiarity between those two cities. It's a lot different, but
Gulf of Mexico, Cook Inlet,
exact same thing.
Yeah. 2-2. Misses. With Kellen Strohmeyer due up, who got a single the last time he was at bat. That's fouled back again.
We talked a lot about Logan Vaughn and his pedigree. He was once the number 2 catcher in Oklahoma in high school. This guy was named to the Oklahoma Large East All-State team. He is a winner. And we know that his winning mentality is going to translate to a hit here soon.
Well, that'll be ball 4. It's not a single, but it accomplishes the same thing. Leadoff man aboard here in the 5th inning. Exactly what you don't want to see if you're Eddie Leon, especially with Kellen Strohmeyer due up next.
He hasn't always generated hits, but one thing he has been good at is getting walks for his team. That's now the 5th walk he's generated this season, which ties him with Don Patrizzi at the 2nd most by any minors so far in 2024. Logan Vaughn doing it again.
Strohmeyer hit a single, would come around to score the only run of the game for Matsu on a pair of errors. Takes the first pitch in the dirt. Man from Iowa, redshirt freshman, getting valuable experience here in the Great White North. 1-0 finds the zone from Leon.
Back to that curveball that time that just barely dropped in the zone. Home plate umpire calling some of these higher pitches a strike, so I think Leon playing to that right now.
And that's strike 2.
And it's working out well for him already with 4 strikeouts in this game. He's got an opportunity at number 5 right here, and we're only in the 5th inning, so he's got a pretty good rate going.
And there it is. That's the high pitch again. You pointed it out. The Miners feel like they have to swing at those because there have been so many called strikes that high up in the zone. And that will be 1 away.
Yeah, again, it's that high pitch that he goes back to it over and over, and it's just like you said, Matsu kind of feels like they have to swing at it. And when you do, it's just such a hard baseball to hit that usually you can't find contact with it. So it's working out perfectly for Leon, and that's a big out.
Cut and a miss there from Drake Kerr, who reached on an error. Later we get to third on another. Leon with 6 strikeouts coming into this game, and he's already got 5 more. So racking up that total here.
And he's done that in less than 2 appearances so far this season. That is truly absurd that he's been able to do that so fast, but that just shows how talented he is. I dare say he's probably the best pitcher the Oilers have.
And that is a ball, 2-1. Worthgen thought it was a strike. So that does put him into a big lead in the ABL for strikeouts with 11 and counting. The next closest man has 7, although Halverson of the Anchorage Bucks got all of those in one start which so far no one else has topped. That's ripped into left field for a base hit. Drake Kerr is aboard for the second time, and this time no error required. Multiple men on base with one away as the top of the order comes up for the Miners.
Drake Kerr has been really good at those gap shots throughout the year, and that was a perfect example of that. Getting it into the 5-6 hole that time, right between the shortstop Soto and the third baseman Thomas. About as simple as you're going to do it, but a nice base hit. And now Matsu's cooking. They've got 2 runners on base.
They're TIF his collegiate squad at Lehigh.
Yeah, he was used as shortstop for the biggest part of this early season, but now being moved over to second base here. We'll see how that translates for the rest of the series, but seems like he's more comfortable there.
Bloop into left, caught on a great play by the shortstop Soto. Can't double off Vaughn at second, but still a valuable second out.
Yeah, that was a good job by Soto and good awareness to track that baseball down. That's knowing where you are on the baseball diamond and being able to locate the baseball in time. Big second out, putting Matsu on the precipice.
Ryan Richard is grounded out and struck out. Miners looking for a spark to score Vaughn at second and retake the lead. Trying to stay undefeated on the road this season. Strike one fired in by Leon.
While we've got a moment, there's another ABL game taking place tonight. The Glacier Pilots and the Bucks are back in action. Glacier Pilots up 2-0 at Mulcahy Stadium on the Bucks right now.
What inning is that?
Bottom of the 5th.
Wow. Off the end of the bat, weak grounder to second, fielded by McDaniel, and he's got him for out number 3. The Miners strand 2, and this game stays knotted up at 1. We're halfway home in Kenai. To the bottom of the 5th we go. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Bottom 5 here in Kenai. A 1-1 game between the Miners and the Oilers. Peninsula looking for their first win at home and their first game at home, and more importantly for them, most likely their first win against the Matsu Miners. Up to bat comes Zachary Ferris for the second time. It will be Ferris, Dawson, and Worthgen. Batters 6, 7, and 8. Ferris in the second inning grounded out unassisted to Nick Ferry at first. And he'll take a pitch from Ryan Peterson that's outside. Peterson still humming. Aside from that home run, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and a walk is all he has surrendered. One of those hits, the costliest one you can allow.
Yeah, gave up that home run earlier on to Colin Robson, and right now that's the only reason that this game is tied. Otherwise, that has been pretty simple for Peninsula. No hits so far besides that homer, so it's been tough sledding. Zachary Ferris, though, guy at the plate, a tremendous athlete, was both a player in football and baseball in high school. 2 hits so far this season coming into this game.
Golf that opposite field into left, McCausland, and that's going to drop foul.
Looked pretty good off the end of his bat, and he kind of did just golf it like you mentioned. Just needed a little bit more to get inside that left field line. If so, that probably would have been enough to get him to second base.
Now, McCausland got a poor jump on that, so could have been trouble, but Peterson's 0-2. Looking for his third K. And left that one a little too high. I mentioned a little bit before, but the players and broadcasters, GM, everybody involved with the minors, staying a few miles away from here, right on the coast. And that is strike 3. Ryan Peterson does get that third K. Ferris goes down looking. 1 away.
Nice work by Peterson that time. Again, working that inside of the zone pitch, and he got it in perfectly on Ferris that time. Right towards his knees. That is almost unhittable. So that's about as good of a pitch as you can ask for from Ryan Peterson. Ferris really with nothing he can do about it. That's one of the best pitches you'll see in the ABL, and Peterson trying to keep it up.
Cole Dawson popped out to short last time, and he grounds that foul. It's say on the coast, but really more above the coast is where we are at, because there are some very sheer cliffs that go on down to the mouth of the Kenai River, which on a more fruitful day would be filled with fishermen catching salmon. Showing bunt there was Dawson. No dice, 1-1. Apparently they have chosen not to run, at least right now. Won't claim to be an expert on when they usually choose to or how long those runs last, but when they do, the river transforms. That's grounded to Perez. Out number 2.
Yeah, we're right towards the mouth of the Kenai River, and it is a beautiful river. We saw some of it coming up here, and it is as blue of a river as you'll ever see. It looks almost like something off a Microsoft screensaver. It's crazy to look at it. Wild stuff, and it's a beautiful area.
He stole that line from me, by the way.
I did.
The river is almost green with the glacier water. It's so clear you can see all the algae inside it. Here it looks about as muddy as you would expect a river that's affected by the tides this close to the ocean to be. Brock Worthgen has flied out to left in this game, and he takes strike 1. Peterson now with 3 Ks is not allowed an earned run. Actually, check it, he has. Of course, home run, the most earned of all runs, you could argue. 0-1. High and in.
I had to use that line, partner. That was too good to pass up. But, yeah, Matsu in this game so far defensively, they've just been so good at identifying where the ball's going to go, what play to make, and they haven't made the mistakes they've made in the past. It's been a very disciplined defense, and when you got that guy firing in strikes, it makes your job all the easier. But I've been very, very impressed by the infield's execution so far, and the outfield as well. They've made some tremendous plays, helping to keep this score at what it is.
Miners have not had a game this regular season where they have not committed an error. They have not committed one thus far. Full count here on Worthgen.
And I'm sure that's been a big talking point for them is, hey, we've got to execute better on defense. We could be undefeated right now if it weren't for that, and we could be winning by even more if it weren't for that. So if we execute better on defense, better things will happen for us.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Strikeout number 4. Ryan Peterson keeps his day going. We are through 5 in Kenai, and a 1-1 game is coming down to the wire, and you won't want to miss it. This is Matsu Miners Baseball here on YouTube. Eddie Leon is continuing his work into the 6th inning, and a good body of work it has been. 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 run, though it was not earned, and he will face off against the heart of the order, Ryan Richard, Christian Perez, and Kyle McCausland. Check it, that was actually Perez, and he flies that into right, and that's a base hit. I apologize for the delayed calls whenever it goes into right field. The sun is directly above the right field line, so it's tough to track the ball. But Perez is on with his first hit.
Yeah, looped that one right over the first baseman Ferris that time. That was a beautiful shot into the right field area, and that's exactly how you want to lead things off. And now it looks like we're going to see our first mound visit of the day. And you wonder what head coach Larry McCann may have in store.
Leon has thrown a lot of pitches. He has done well.
Looks like they're going to make a call to the bullpen here, Charlie.
They've had somebody warming up in there for a bit. And
looks like it's going to be...
nobody's running out right now.
Yeah, here we go. Looks like it's going to be number 5, Mose Hayes.
Mose Hayes will be the man to replace Eddie Leon, whose day is done after giving up a leadoff single. The line I read is the exact line he finishes with, except for 1 extra hit. 3 of those, 5 strikeouts to surge him into the ABL lead with 11. 2 walks and no runs. By all measures, an extremely solid start, and he gets an ovation accordingly from the Oilers faithful. Now will be Mose Hayes, a local kid out of Homer, Alaska, which is a little bit south of here. Faulkner University right-hander, 3.58 ERA, 70 and a third innings pitched. One of the most experienced collegiate players, not just on the Oilers, but in any squad in the ABL. He had 62 strikeouts, had a complete game against Mobile during his collegiate season, and 9 strikeouts against Georgia Gwinnett. He was the top pitcher on the staff, and he is a returning player for the Oilers, one of the few returning members of any ABL roster. Last season, not only is he returning, this is his 4th season playing for Peninsula. Last summer, he had a 3-1 record, 2.70 ERA, allowing 10 earned runs. So a very solid player. I can't imagine there's anybody else in the ABL who has even been here for 3 seasons, let alone 4.
Yeah, he is one of the longest tenured players that the Alaska Baseball League has to offer. A true legend down here in Kenai. And he's a player who's been very solid all the way through. They put a lot of trust in him. That's why he keeps coming back, because they know what he's capable of. And I think that head coach McCann putting him in this situation is testament to just how much they believe in this guy. And they're going to have to. This game's tied at 1-1. You got a runner at first and no outs. And with how well that Eddie Leon performed here this evening, you need a pitcher that can back that up and keep this game at what it is, because we know what this Matsu offense is capable of. And it feels like they're at the precipice, right, of breaking through, of getting through that threshold and making this a game in which they start to dominate again. So if you're Mose Hayes, you've got to find a way to limit this offense at all cost.
The beloved hometown kid. He has not appeared in a game for Peninsula so far this year, but of course he's not lacking for experience in any facet of the game, collegiately or in the ABL. He will face off against Kyle McCausland once he's done warming up. The Wellesley, Massachusetts native has grounded out to third and flied out to center.
The good news for Mose Hayes is that the next 3 batters from Matsu, none of them have been able to get a hit so far. So that should fare well for him. It's when he starts getting down to that lower part of the order where things could get a bit dicey when guys like Strohmeyer and Kerr make their way to the plate. But at least starting off, he should have a pretty easy way to go about this. We'll see if he can handle it.
And it's so funny that you say that. The bottom of the order is the dangerous one for these Miners. It has been all year. Drake Kerr, one of the best hitters for average on this Miners squad. He is the consistent 9-man. Guys like Logan Vaughn, who is due. Kellen Strohmeyer. Nick Bisaccia bats down there a lot. Chase Wilcox, he's batting 6th. There is really not a weak stretch in this lineup. McCausland ready to dig in against the ABL vet. And he takes strike one. That's going to be low. High. I've seen a few pitches pretty much in the exact same spot, or maybe even a little higher, have been called strikes, but the Miners will take it. 1-0. Same spot, but a strike.
Yeah, it was almost the exact same pitch that time. I guess it was just a little bit lower. Again, the home plate umpire has discretion, but early on you're seeing Mose Hayes' specialty using that fastball here against McCausland. So far he's got a 1-1, but I like the speed at which it's coming in at. Got an opportunity to maybe get a strikeout if he plays his cards right.
We had a radar gun up here for a brief time, but unfortunately we had that privilege revoked because the other radar gun that was being used during practices stopped working, and the one we had was the spare. So it's being used for something more valuable than the broadcast. That's grounded to second. Fielded by McDaniel, throws on to second for one. It will not be able to turn two, but the force out was Perez, and there will be one on via fielder's choice, and now one out.
I don't hate the idea on that play, but I do think it was a little bit risky because I don't believe there was really any opportunity at a double play. Although I do get the mindset that time from Kyle McDaniel, try to get the double play if at all possible. I just think that it was a little bit too precarious when you got the guy coming to first, but you understand the idea.
Well, if all things being equal, you would rather get the lead man out because you get a force out for a future double play, and also you prevent somebody from getting into scoring position. There is an added risk if the ball gets away, but I think there's a risk no matter which base you throw to of that. So
always true. It's part of the fun fundamentals of this game. You never know what way it might go.
Nick Ferry is walked and grounded out to first base on that diving stop. 0-1, cut and a miss from the Seton Hall Pirate.
Has done a good job over at first base today for Matsu.
Extremely great. One of the best defensive players on this team. Hitting .231, which isn't terrible. 1 run batted in. 1-1 goes at a pitch in the dirt, grounded down the first base line. That was functionally a swinging bunt, and it establishes the same thing. Down to second goes McCausland, and 2 away.
Good job by Hayes that time to chase after that baseball, and he could have probably tried to let it go foul, but I like the idea. Just chase after it, get the out if at all possible, because you never know if it's going to stay inside. Sometimes you wait, it never goes foul, and you just cost yourself a hit. So good job to chase that baseball down and get the out.
That happened in the MLB showcase.
Right.
On the third base line. Chase Wilcox is 0 for 2 today, but don't let that fool you. The Miners are well aware of what he can do.
And
What were you going to say?
I've said, and you got a runner in scoring position here as well, so that's just even more incentive for Wilcox to drill one. He's had a couple bases clearing doubles in his time. Got an opportunity at another one right here.
That was a swing and a miss, so 0-1. In a 1-1 ball game here in the top of the 6th, the runner on second and 2 outs here at Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark.
Great crowd on hand tonight for this opener here in Kenai. A lot of fans filling this 1,300-seat capacity ballpark.
0-1. Just low. Big lead off of second now for McCausland. He can run. He has that outfielder speed. They were hinting at maybe sending him, but opted against it with the right-hander on the mound.
We know he'll be watching, especially with 2 outs, and Hayes has to be aware of that, as does Worthgen.
1-1. High and outside. Despite what the stadium scoreboard might say, 2-1 now the count.
Hayes going back to that curveball that time. A little bit high and out of the zone. Just trying to see what he can do against Wilcox. I'd say he'll go back to that fastball here.
2-1. Popped him up into shallow left field. Vogelsong Lewis has got it, and that will retire the side. So the Miners keep on trying, but they can't quite break through. No earned runs yet in the game for Matsu, but the one they got unearned is enough to have them in a tie. 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball here on YouTube. Well, the Oilers switched their pitcher after the first batter of the 6th inning, and the Miners won't even bother to wait. Ryan Peterson's day is done. 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and of course 1 run on that Robson, long ball. Now Luke Smith in relief.
Yeah, Luke Smith, a man with 3 2/3 innings pitched this year. He's got 3 appearances for the Miners. A lefty for the Miners in the rotation, 7 hits allowed, 4 runs given up, 2 of those earned, and he has a 4.91 ERA. The man out of North Richland Hills, Texas, he plays for Incarnate Word, had a season-high 3 1/3 innings pitched against Rice, and in his first appearance, he had one inning pitched against Chugiak, which he had a pretty solid outing, had a strikeout, and also pitched 1 2/3 innings against the Bucks, which he allowed just 1 earned run. So he's been pretty solid in relief this year, and he's got a big test ahead of him against the Peninsula Oilers.
He has allowed a run in every appearance this season. This is his 4th appearance out of the bullpen for the Miners, which leads the team, but by far the highest leverage one. He will pitch in a tie game 1-1 with Aiden Sullivan, Petey Soto, Kyle McDaniel due up. The 3 of them have combined for 0 hits. Sullivan batting for the 2nd time. He grounded out to 3rd, back in the 3rd.
Quick update on the Bucks Pilots game. It's still 2-0 Glacier Pilots in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, that's baseball. Grounded to 1st. Ferry's got it. And a clean, unassisted out the 2nd time Sullivan has gone down to Ferry.
Yeah, Nick Ferry just really unable to get it past the infield right now, and it's that same direction right to the first baseman. And it does not work out.
Petey Soto has popped out to short and flied out to center. If there is anyone the the Oilers would look to for an offensive spark plug, it would be Colin Robson or him, and he pops that one up and out of play. Excuse me.
Been pretty quiet so far. He had a fly out to center last time and popped it up to Ryan Richard in his first at-bat. But he's been able to make contact. Just a matter of getting it in the gap.
0-1. He does so again, but it looks like it will be a similar story. Ferry once again taking it, that time in the air and 2 away.
Nice work by Nick Ferry in this frame so far defensively. First he gets the unassisted out and now has this one popped up right to him. It's a pretty simple play, but he does a good job of chasing it down and showing a lot of confidence in these outs, and that's 2 quick ones. Maybe on the verge of another 1-2-3 inning for Matsu.
Luke Smith has thrown 4 pitches and has gotten 2 outs. Kyle McDaniel has struck out looking and popped out deep into foul territory on a catch by Christian Perez that his face mask did him no favors for. Not really a mask, more of a bandana almost. I'm trying to think of the word, not a bandana. There's a word for it, but it's evading me. He's rocking it.
Very stylish.
As much as one can. 0-1. Into left field, dropping, and that's going to be a base hit. Neither Richard nor McCausland could get there into no man's land, and McDaniel's got his first knock.
Nice bloop shot right over Richard that time. He was a really good guy when it comes to chasing down the baseball, but there was just nothing he could do about it. That was a perfectly placed hit, and that is what the Oilers need at this point. Just good shots into a gap, able to get runners on base, try to finish it off, and keep applying that pressure to Matsu. And we know this guy knows a thing or two about delivering big shots.
Yeah, speaking of what the Oilers need, here's Colin Robson. Mile-high pop on the first pitch. Perez and Vaughn into foul ground, and Perez making the catch in foul ground once more to end the threat, end the inning. 1-1 the score remains. Luke Smith with a clean inning out of the pen to get it to the 7th. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. To the 7th inning we go in Kenai, a 1-1 ball game. Mose Hayes on for his 2nd inning of relief, and he'll get Logan Vaughn, Kellen Strohmeyer, and Drake Kerr. Batters 7, 8, and 9, which, as we know, are more often than not the most dangerous spots in the lineup for Matsu.
You may have heard in the last frame I said that the heart of the lineup hadn't been the strongest for Matsu in this game. Well, the bottom of the order certainly has been. Vaughn, Strohmeyer, and Kerr, guys who have all gotten on base at least once in this game. They're going to be a tough ask against Mose Hayes.
Vaughn has struck out looking and walked.
This is going to be big for Mose Hayes, trying to limit the damage for Matsu. Right now, it's a dogfight, it's a slugfest, and you do not want to give up any runs. Feels like whoever gives up the next run might just lose this game.
Fouled back out of play. I want to thank Corey D in the chat for his clarification on what Christian Perez was wearing. A do-rag is the word we were looking for. That is the fashion statement that Perez has chosen to make, and he's made a couple nice catches so far in this one, so definitely not inhibiting his baseball playing abilities. Here's the 0-2 from Hayes. High and away.
A do-rag. Well, it also protects from the cold as well, so I guess it's a multi-purpose fashion thing, if nothing else. But it's a nice look. It's a cool look.
Hayes left it outside again. He allowed Kyle McCausland to reach on a fielder's choice the first batter he faced, but has not allowed a hit.
Remember, Logan Vaughn has generated 5 walks this year. He could tie the team lead with a 6th one if he can get something done in this situation.
2-2.
He's done a good job of just extending at-bats throughout this season. That's what allows him to get a lot of these walks, is that he's very hard to put down. Even though
Logan Vaughn goes down with his 2nd K of the day. First for Mose Hayes. 1 away in the 7th.
He'd only been struck out once coming into this game, Charlie, and now he's been struck out twice in this game alone, both times looking, one by Leon and one by Hayes. This is a big testament to just how good this Oilers pitching staff is playing.
Kellen Strohmeyer is singled and struck out. The Oilers with 6 Ks overall, 5 of them courtesy of Eddie Leon. High looping curve that falls into the strike zone.
That was a beauty of a curveball. It seems like he's got it under control after throwing the curve a little bit higher earlier on. He is fitting it right in the zone now, and it's becoming harder and harder for Matsu to hit against it.
0-1. One out in the top of the 7th, and That finds the zone as well. Mose Hayes not afraid of these Miners bats, it seems.
This has been a huge turnaround for this Oilers pitching staff after a couple of rough bouts against Matsu. They are turning the page in this one in their home opener.
0-2, cut and a miss. Second straight K for Hayes, 7th overall, and Mose Hayes is dealing in the park he knows so well.
That he is. Another strikeout, this time on Strohmeyer. This is a guy who had struck out 3 times before this game in 14 at-bats, so these are guys who aren't easy exactly to take out when it comes to strikeouts, and Mose Hayes is mowing right through them.
Drake Kerr has reached on an error and singled. Miners need any spark they can get. Both offenses stuck in mud here. These Oilers pitchers doing a great job of stymieing what has been an explosive offense, especially at their expense. Just an incredible turnaround compared to the last time we saw this team in.
And maybe it's the confidence, the ability to play at home. That sometimes plays a factor. Having that home crowd behind you, you play a little bit looser, a little bit more energetic, and you just feel the emotion of the crowd behind you in that sense. And I think right now that might be helping them to play better than they have all year against one of the top teams, maybe the top team in the Alaska Baseball League.
Miners have 3 hits in this game. Oilers with 4. Brief attempt at a bunt by Kerr. It'll be, I believe, 2-1. We're going to go with that. Scoreboard having a bit of an issue. Now here's Hayes' offering again. Kerr has a 3-1 lead.
Now this is going to be a big test for Mose Hayes. How does he get out of this 3-1 count to Drake Kerr? Another guy who's been pretty good at getting on base, not just in this game, but all season long. I'd say we'll be looking for that fastball here.
Left it just high. Ball 4. There were some groans in the Kenai crowd, but a 2-out walk gets Drake Kerr on base for the 3rd time, and it brings up Dom Patrizzi in desperate need of a hit. He has not gotten one in 3 tries today, and breaking out of that funk would be massive toward getting the Miners back on the board.
So I thought that he'd go for the fastball, but he decided to try the curveball that time, and it was just a little bit too far upstairs.
Runner goes, throwing down his Worthgen, and that throw goes off the second baseman, and now he's going to try into a man 90 feet away from scoring. And Dom Patrizzi needs that hit so much more.
Yeah, and now there's a huge incentive to get that hit because you just had a guy go from first to third, and Petey Soto just having issues collecting that baseball, treated it like a greased pig at the fair, and could not come up with that thing. All of a sudden, Matsu is in business with a chance to retake the lead.
Is that that's a Tennesseeism?
That's a Tennessee
must
thing.
Be.
Yeah, I guess my southern folks will understand that implication.
What is a grease? Just a live pig.
It's a greased pig contest. Yeah, you try to catch the pig.
Oh wow!
It's full of grease. People slipping all over this thing trying to catch it.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's something you got to see.
I think I'll pass.
You got to see it to understand.
Dom Patrizzi says 1-0, and he grounds that to second, fielded by McDaniel, and he's 0 for 4. And once again, the Miners strand a man in scoring position. 1-1, the score remains heading into the 7th inning stretch. Despite what the scoreboard has said this entire inning, that was the time. Bottom of the seventh inning stretch is over after a rousing rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It's time to return to a ball game where all eyes are fixed on the field, a 1-1 game. Probably the second closest game the Miners have played, and although that game against Anchorage had a lot of runs and a lot of scoring, but it wasn't tied for as long as this game has been. Just a battle of attrition. Who is going to blink first? Luke Smith is going to be on to face Elijah Vogelsong Lewis, trying to keep his groove going and give the Miners a chance for a road win.
Yeah, that game against Anchorage was a lot different than this one because that was more of a game of runs. One score 3, the other team would score 3. It was almost like a basketball game because one team would get off to a big run, then the other would follow, whereas this one's been basically even the whole time.
You can tell what sport highlights he has been watching all day long. I'm a victim of that myself. 2-1.
Hey, when you're a fan, sometimes it's hard to get away from that.
Smith into right field, snagged by Ferry. What a great play and a rocket down the first base line. The defensive prowess of the first baseman on full display, one away.
Great work by Nick Ferry. He has been a tremendous revelation over at first base as of late. That was hit on a rope right to him, and the fact that it was going that fast and the fact that he was able to bring that thing in, truly remarkable and a big first out.
Ty Thomas has struck out looking and grounded out to third. He bats with one away in the bottom of the seventh. He did not go around, but it's a strike anyway. With Zachary Ferris on deck. This middle part of the order is not hit well. That's flied into right. Strohmeyer coming on. It's into foul territory, and it's snagged by Richard. The second baseman comes all the way over, and that's out number 2.
Nice work that time. I think it was Patrizi who came over. And
yes, it
made
was
that
the second
catch that
baseman.
time.
I'm used to Richard being the second baseman.
And that's part of that comfort level that he feels in that position. Easy play to make, but a nice one.
And his teammates knew his comfort level too because they all deferred to him. There were 3 of them there, but he was the one who got to make the play. Now here is Zachary Ferris, grounded out to first and struck out looking. And he's got a 1-1 count.
Beautiful breaking ball by Smith that last time. It just changes direction so quickly. It's very hard to make a play on it if you're a batter. Here it goes again.
1-1. That was a bad swing. That was basically already in the catcher's mitt. And Smith, 1 strike away from his first K, and much more importantly, another clean inning.
Can he do it? He's been playing with confidence so far in this inning. Needs 1 more strike.
That's hit well out to right, but Strohmeyer ranging on, and actually he's going to give it up to Kerr. Lots of you-firsting on this defensive effort by the Matsu Miners, but nothing comes of it except for another 1-2-3 inning. That'll be it for me. Dylan Simmons will take you the rest of the way through the remainder of the 9 innings, and if we need it, extras here in this opening game of a 5-game road trip for Matsu. 1-1, Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube.
to Kenai, Alaska. We are live at Coral Seymour Memorial Ballpark. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows joining you for what could be the final 2 innings of the game, barring extra innings. And with the way this game is going, who knows? Matsu in a deadlock 1-1 with the Peninsula Oilers trying to break through. They've been getting closer and closer with each passing inning. And now Ryan Richard trying to give them the lead.
Richard 0 for 3. It's really interesting. Part of the reason this offense has struggled so much is Patrizi, Richard, and Wilcox, 3 of the most consistent hitters on this squad, are a combined 0 of 10. Richard trying to break that.
It's the best pitching performance we've seen really on both sides all season. It's been tremendous baseball from the bump. And it's been hard for these hitters to make any contact as Richard fouls this one into the net. 0-2.
He's grounded out twice and struck out swinging.
Both times it's been to the second baseman, Kyle McDaniel, on these groundouts. Trying to avoid that here. He'd love a shot into the outfield to put himself on base for the first time today. Here's a fastball outside for ball 1.
That was actually close to being a strike, but Wirtgen had a bad frame job on that. Don't think we have the framing metrics available in the ABL, but he would take a hit to. I think that's WAR for a catcher. It takes that into account. Statcast WAR anyway.
1-2 bounce rolled right over the mound, right past Leon on his right side, and there was nobody who was able to make a play on it. That's just a good piece of direction on the hit. And now Matsu with a runner on base. Christian Perez at the plate, the man with the do-rag over his face, trying to help Matsu to potentially retake the lead.
Had a stream hiccup there, but we had Ryan Richard breaking his 0 for 3 with a single. He's on with none out in the top of the 8th.
1-0 count to Perez. The left-handed batter in the box, trying to help Matsu, as the throwback to first will be unsuccessful. Zachary Ferris out there. Christian Perez, of course, with that big 3-hit performance against Peninsula back on Sunday of last week. It's been 9 days since then. Now trying to deliver another signature moment against the Oilers. This pitch high and outside for ball 2.
You also got to wonder, got 2 pretty stalwart, dependable hitters for Matsu, Brandon Durand and Nick Bisaccia, on the bench today. I wonder if Tyler Brunn might prioritize getting this opening win at the expense of keeping his guys fresh.
The 2-0, and it is high for ball number 3. All of a sudden, Matsu with the possibility of 2 runners on base if Perez can draw a walk here.
With none out, too. Hayes on the ropes. And the bullpen in this team is not good.
They do have somebody warming up back there. There's a strike for Mose Hayes, brings it to a 3-1 on a nice fastball.
Hayes is valuable for them, a long reliever type. He's used to throwing a ton of innings over the course of a season. A guy that can put in a high-leverage situation like this, but in danger of getting multiple men on with none out. Exactly what you don't want to have happen in the late innings here, especially with your team having struggled to consistently score at all. It's just one random home run is all the scoring they've done so far today.
A massive 3-1 to Perez. Fastball, swing and a miss, count goes full.
And Perez visibly frustrated at that. He thought he had him. A monster cut. He was going for at least 2 bases. Now at the risk of walking away with none.
It looked well timed, but I believe he was just a little bit late. And now he faces a full count after starting off with a 3-0. A massive payoff pitch from Hayes. And he swung and missed it.
Wow.
A massive strikeout after being down 3-0. Mose Hayes coming up clutch.
That is the most impressive play I think I've seen a pitcher make against the Miners this season.
The 8th total strikeout for Peninsula in this game, and maybe the biggest one of the game against Christian Perez, who was on the verge of getting a free trip to first base. Now we'll see Kyle McCausland come on.
Perez is just such a scary hitter to face.
Richard's going. This ball is popped up into space, coming back down, and the catcher, Wirtgen, makes the catch for out 2.
Just an absolutely brutal turn of events. You have 3-0 with one of your best hitters on the team, looking to have 2 men on, none out. Instead, Mose Hayes fights back, wins that battle, and then just a random bloop foul out. Nothing you can do about that. All of a sudden, Nick Ferry has the inning in his hands.
Spotlight's on you, Nick Ferry. He does have one walk that he is forced in this game. That was in his first at-bat. But he has grounded out his last 2 times. This ball popped up. Another space moonshot. Coming back down around second base, the shortstop Soto makes the catch, and that will do it for the top half of the 8th inning. The Oilers defense steps up once again, and a huge strikeout from Mose Hayes after being down 3-0 on Christian Perez could make the difference in this one. Bottom of the 8th on the way. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call. This is Alaska Baseball League Baseball here on YouTube as the Miners and the Oilers are in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It is a 1-1 game between these two ABL foes. It has been back and forth between who's going to be able to score a run all day, and thus far, as of late, neither one has been able to come through. Cole Dawson leading off for the Oilers in this frame. As Luke Smith pitches this one, a ground ball right to the shortstop. Throw is up and high, off the bag comes Ferry, and that's going to be a runner safe for the Oilers as Cole Dawson able to make it.
That's going to be a hit because he would have legged that out regardless. He had a huge jump, and that ball took a while to get into Richard's glove, but still, throw could have been better. Maybe on a bang-bang play. Could have potentially out-touched him, but leadoff single, just what the doctor ordered for the Oilers. Luke Smith not giving up a ton of strong contact, so the Oilers have to make do with what they have, and Brock Worthgen is next in line.
The ground ball traveled pretty slowly to Ryan Richard, and that probably rushed the throw just a little bit. But as you mentioned, the single, and now here comes a bunt. Picked up, and Smith bobbled it, throws to first. Still got it there in time, though. Able to get a big out, but that was almost a big disaster for Matsu. One away.
And no harm, no foul. He converted it as well as he possibly could have. Down to second goes Dawson. Just how you draw the start of the inning up for the Oilers. Aiden Sullivan has grounded out twice to first base, but after that, the top of the order is up once again. Trying to mount a rally.
Aiden Sullivan so far has grounded out to first twice. One away. This is a bouncing ball to short. Picked up, thrown by Richard, able to get it to first in time. That's now 2 outs, but advancing to third is Cole Dawson. And now we will go back to the top of the order, and that means Petey Soto, the shortstop.
My heart skipped a beat there because I was afraid Richard might cook that throw again, and that would have resulted in a run coming around to score. But he shorted up that time, learned from his mistake. Ferry looks the runner back, and now Petey Soto, sink or swim for the Oilers. Teams have been squandering opportunities all night, and he does not want to continue that trend.
That goes for a strike, an 0-1 count. Luke Smith is allowing a bit more contact here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, but the Miners so far have not given up a run, trying to keep it that way. Here's a breaking ball that's just outside. Count evens.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, that was a massive one for Luke Smith, who thus far in the game has been very effective And this one does find the zone. Perfect pitch by Luke Smith. Really nothing that Soto could do about that. And now Luke Smith is one strike away from bringing us to the ninth. A massive 1-2. Trying to keep the score at 1-1 is Luke Smith, the man from Incarnate Word. And he gets the strikeout. A swing and a miss by Soto. And Luke Smith comes up huge. Ninth inning is on the way. The Miners defense coming through clutch once again. And they'll try to take the lead, perhaps for the final time in this game when we come back. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. Top of the ninth inning between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers is on the way. Game 1 of this 5-game road stretch. It is 1-1 between these two Alaska Baseball League foes. And it has been a dramatic game down the stretch. Neither team able to get an inch. But who could potentially take the mile here to end this game?
Chase Wilcox always a candidate, though he is 0 for 3. This game would mean so much to both of those teams. Of course, the Oilers looking for their first win over Matsu, and the Miners looking to prove that even when their offense isn't quite in gear, the way it has been in the early goings this season, they can still pull out a win when it matters most.
Looks like that is a pinch hitter for Matsu. This is Blake Bouts making his Miners debut, coming in as a pinch hitter for Nick Ferry as the count goes to 0-1.
Bouts one of 2 players that joined the team this morning. He got in late last night along with Tucker Timmerman from UCLA. Bouts from UCLA, Timmerman from UC Santa Barbara, both California guys. He joined the team this morning, met everybody, and immediately got on the bus to come down to Kenai, and here he is in one of the most important at-bats of the game. What do you got?
That's a heck of a turnaround as he watches this pitch go outside for a 2-1. As you mentioned, he plays for the UCLA Bruins, a freshman, out of Rancho Santa Margarita, California, 5'10", 185. Had a season-high 3 hits versus Pepperdine back on April 30th. Waits on a 2-1 count, lets it go by. It's a curveball, and it's in there for a strike. Count evens at 2-2.
And the brief sound came from the PA system right when he threw that pitch, which elicits a sorry from the operator, but probably should have been a do-over there.
Hey, it's a genuine apology.
Stands.
I appreciate the genuine apology from our PA guy. He's a fun guy to talk to as that pitch goes high and away for ball number 3.
The production value at this park, I got to say, is really leaps and bounds ahead of the other games we've been to. They've got, minor league kind of races and spinning around on a bat and running dizzy. It's really an entertainment product here.
Heck of a setup. Full count to Bouts. Bouncing ball to short. Picked up. Thrown to first. Soto got it there in time. What a throw by Petey Soto to Zachary Ferris. And there will be no drama from Blake Bouts in his first at-bat here in the ABL.
Well, that answers my question about whether they were going to use pinch hitters. He gave it everything he could, turned on the jets, but just did not have the speed to get down there. I thought that might go up the middle at first, but No dice. Logan Vaughn.
This will be Logan Vaughn coming in for Matsu, the number 7 man in the order. He struck out looking twice. He did reach on a walk in his second at-bat.
I was wondering if they might go with Brandon Durand here in this spot because he is the better hitting of the two catchers. On the infielder, 2 away. Matsu going to be praying for a miracle or extra innings. You do not want to get walked off, especially on the opposing team's home opener, especially by a team you've beaten 9-2 and 10-1 this season.
It is Kellen Strohmeyer at the plate, who could represent the last stand of the Matsu offense in this game. Mose Hayes with the pitch. Swing and a miss by Strohmeyer. Count goes to 0-1.
Kellen 1 for 3, a single and a pair of swinging strikeouts. Mose Hayes has been in a groove, 8 Ks overall between him and Eddie Leon. Just a masterclass of avoiding contact, and it's what the Oilers needed in this low-scoring affair.
Pitch goes inside, and the count goes to 1-1. Kellen Strohmeyer, the Iowa Hawkeye, the redshirt freshman with 14 at-bats on the season entering this game. 2 hits, 1 RBI entering this game. Has added a third one earlier on today, and now trying to get a signature moment for Matsu. The 1-1. This is going to be fouled back, and the count goes to 1-2.
Thought he missed that for a second. Mose Hayes and Eddie Leon, 2 of the best individual pitching stints, I think it's safe to say, in all of the ABL so far, and it just so happened to be in the same game, one right after the other. They have silenced the best offense in the league.
1-2 count. Here we go. Strohmeyer has this one bounce off of the plate. He's going on to first. The throw is going to be off the bag. It gets away, and Strohmeyer is safe at first base.
The ultra-rare swinging strikeout into getting on to first anyway. It looked like they had that inning dead to rights, but Strohmeyer, a gift from the baseball gods perhaps. Drake Kerr has not failed to reach first base yet today, and he could extend this inning.
Worthington couldn't locate the baseball for just a moment, and that's all that Kellen Strohmeyer needed. The Hawkeye soars to first base. Now it's Drake Kerr at the plate, the center fielder, who, like you mentioned, has not been able, or has been rather unable to not reach first base today, as that goes for a strike inside. Count goes to 0-1.
That is 3 errors on the day for the Oilers, a little shy of the 5 they had last week at Herman Brothers, but still not doing them any favors. Of course, the only run Matsu has unearned during that 3rd inning.
Drake Kerr trying to be clutch again. He swings and misses at this pitch. Count goes to 1-2. Nice fastball by Hayes. Or check it's going to be 0-2.
He's already gotten 1 inning-ending strikeout that was taken away from him due to an error. How about 1 to finish the job?
Kerr trying to keep the top of the 9th alive and give Matsu a chance at victory. Mose Hayes will dial up the fastball. It goes outside, and the count now goes to 1-2.
Good job by Kerr not chasing that. A nice little sweeper action there. Left the zone right at the end.
Worthington did a good job of keeping that baseball in front of him, not allowing Strohmeyer to take a chance and go to second. Drake Kerr trying to come up clutch once again. He had 5 RBIs on the year entering this game. Pitches low, throw back to first, not in time. Strohmeyer diving, able to get back to the bag.
Strohmeyer was way out of position, but so was the first baseman Ferris. If he had been closer to the bag, that might have been close. But he too was leading a bit from where he ought to have been, and Hayes will try to take care of it himself.
Drake Kerr with a .364 on-base percentage this year, trying to do it again. This ball has popped up into shallow center field, now into the infield, and the catch is made by the second baseman McDaniel, and the top of the 9th inning is over. The Miners again come up empty. The Oilers defense playing as good as they have all season. It's going to be time for the bottom of the 9th in just a moment. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. A dramatic bottom of the ninth awaits between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. The Oilers with a chance to walk it off and get their first win of the season against Matsu and improve their ABL record to 2-3. Luke Smith still on the mound, firing in a breaking ball. It's in there for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. This is Kyle McDaniel, the second baseman at the plate.
Luke Smith hadn't thrown more than 1 inning out of the pen prior to this game, and now he's going to try and do 4.
And he landed it again. 2 back-to-back perfect curveballs, and the count goes to 0-2.
This has been a complete reinvention of how he has looked so far this game, or this season rather. Not only is he not allowed to run, he's only allowed 1 hit.
This time he pushes it outside. McDaniel, Robson, and Vogelsong Lewis are leading off this frame for Peninsula in their home opener. It'd be storybook for them to end it with a walk-off. Bouncing ball to second, picked up by Patrizzi. Throw to first, in time easily. 1 away on a 4-3 putout.
Those 3 due up, all with hits in this game, and none with a more dangerous or memorable hit than Colin Robson. He almost scored in the first inning, trying to get to home from first on a Vogelsong Lewis single, was thwarted. The next time, he would not be denied. He said, if the fielders are going to take it away from me, I'm just going to do it myself, hit a home run. And he actually hit a home run earlier this season off of Luke Smith, who himself is now in the middle of a mound conference.
And there's going to be a new pitcher on the mound for Matsu, so Luke Smith's coming out.
And that's probably on the forefront of head coach Tyler Brunn's mind. That is going to be number 23 on the bump, Drew Keenan.
So it's going to be Drew Kennan for Matsu on the bump.
Kennan, excuse me. I never get that right.
All good. His father wanted to make sure that I pronounced that right, and if you're watching right now, your son is in a big time moment against the Peninsula Oilers.
Heroic that he's even able to play in this game in the first place, because he left his cleats back in Matsu. Had to borrow one of his teammates, I presume, to make this appearance.
The man out of Dartmouth, who has made a few appearances this year for Matsu, but this is by far the biggest spotlight he's been in as a Matsu Miner, trying to get a win on the road against the Peninsula Oilers. The freshman with 1 inning pitch so far on the season and 1 appearance.
That was a clean inning. He did not allow a hit or any kind of base runner. That was, I believe that was in the last time these two teams played, when head coach Tyler Brunn used 1 pitcher for every inning.
He did issue 1 walk in that inning, but otherwise he was perfect, like you mentioned. The freshman out of Dartmouth had a season-high 4 innings pitched against Penn back on May 3rd, and 4 strikeouts versus Pomona Pitzer back on March 18th. And he's in the top 5 of most pitching stats on the Dartmouth team.
Fitting for the big green, for him to excel in a jersey of the same color. We're in camo today, but still with those green accents, green socks.
Colin Robson now at the plate, the man who has hit 2 home runs against Matsu this year. 1 already today, and he would love to get a 3rd to walk it off here at home.
He's also walked and popped out.
Now, how does Drew Kennan respond to this adversity? A big test for the young freshman. 1-0 count. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Looks like it was just in the top right corner of the zone.
If he can get through Robson, Vogelsong Lewis has not gotten a hit since the first inning.
And another breaking ball, this time outside for ball 2.
He's clearly pitching around him, not afraid to walk him if he has to. That's going to be better than giving up a walk-off home run.
They know the power that he possesses. He swings and misses at this one, and the count's going to go to 2-2.
And he had that on his mind with that cut.
He was swinging for the fences that time. Now he is 1 strike away from being out of this game in the bottom of the 9th. Pitch from Kennan. Another foul ball. Just barely off the tip of the bat of Robson that time to keep his AB alive.
Robson coming into this game, as I said, was 5th in the ABL in batting average. Also tied for 2nd in steals. We haven't really gotten to see him do that so far in this game.
This is going to be a bouncing ball to the right of the first base bag and fouled. Count stays at 2-2.
Of course, he is first in the ABL in home runs with 2.
This Oilers crowd trying to pump up Colin Robson, the man that, like you mentioned, is the only player in the ABL to have multiple home runs this season, both against the same team. Low pitch by Kennan, and it's ball 3.
Once again, you'd rather walk him than give up any kind of solid contact. You know what he's capable of. You don't want to get walked off on.
Full count. This pitch is high and outside for ball 4, so he will walk Colin Robson after bringing it to a full count, but also, like you mentioned, better than giving up a walk-off homer.
You can also get a double play here to get it to extras. Elijah Vogelsong-Lewis, as I mentioned, he singled back in the first inning, which he did not get to see the fruits of because Colin Robson got himself thrown out at home. He's also flied out to left and popped up to first.
Robson has now reached base 3 times in this game. This is a low pitch for ball 1.
Though he was not on the base paths very long the second time he was at bat.
Yeah, it didn't take much. He was around the bases quickly. 1-0 count. Pitch by Kennan, and again it's low, this time in the dirt. Ball 2.
Well, walking the best home run hitter in the ABL in the bottom of the ninth is one thing, but you definitely don't want to walk 2 guys in the bottom of the ninth, so gotta find that command.
Gotta find the strike zone. He will not be able to this time. That's ball 3.
That's alarming enough for Logan Vaughn, the Texas A&M Corpus Christi veteran, to come out and talk with the pitcher.
The tension is palpable for the Matsu Miners right now, and in this crowd as well.
Yes, this is the most tension-filled rendition of "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands" I've ever heard, coming over the loudspeakers.
Yeah, you can just feel the intensity reverberating through that very song. This crowd is maybe not happy. They're feeling probably a wide range of emotions right now. I don't know if happiness is entirely one of them, but they certainly are excited to potentially see an Oilers walk-off. Matsu going to do their best to keep that from happening. Drew Kennan versus Vogelsong-Lewis. This time he is not able to find the zone. A delayed call. The Miners thought for sure it was a strike, and instead it's back-to-back walks issued by Kennan.
That's because I think it was a strike. Really, those last 2 pitches were really close, and Kennan doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, so dire straits all of a sudden, back-to-back walks in the first 2 batters he faces, and a man in scoring position for Ty Thomas. Now, the 2 men due up are combined 0 for 6 in Thomas and Zachary Ferris, so he might be able to bail himself out.
Fires this one inside for ball number 1, a bit high as well. 1-0 count.
That's the 6th straight ball he's thrown.
This is becoming very problematic for Drew Kennan and Matsu. All of a sudden, they're in danger of giving up this game. There's a strike and a much-needed one. The count goes to 1-1 after that 6 straight ball stretch.
This crowd is packed. This stadium.
These fans in Kenai love their Oilers, and they're hoping they can find something here. This ball flown out and fouled up and over the dugout for the Oilers. Count goes to 1-2.
And a small child nearly wiped out trying to run across the wooden floorboards to go down and get it. I wish him the best of luck.
1-2 count. Big moment for Kennan and the Miners. Here's a fastball. It's low for ball 2. He couldn't get Thomas to bite on it that time. The count evens.
The Oilers clearly content with just standing there and daring Kennan to consistently find the zone.
Kennan trying to answer. This ball popped up. It's going to be playable into foul territory. Ferry wants it. He will make the catch. 2 away.
Massive out right on the edge of foul territory, right near the fence. If that had drifted a little bit farther, the wind was blowing so hard earlier today. If it hadn't died down as much as it has, that might have gone into the crowd, and that at-bat might have continued, and instead, a massive play. And if the fans don't want this game to go to extra innings, Zachary Ferris, the last person to deliver.
So it's Zachary Ferris at the plate. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Slow pitch by Kennan, ball 1.
And if you walk the bases loaded ahead of Cole Dawson, that's not a proposition you want to be in.
The Miners have not been in an extra innings game all year. Neither have the Oilers. This ball fouled into the net. Count goes to 1-1. In fact, I don't think a single ABL game has went to extra innings so far in 2024.
I'm going to check that, but I think you're right. There would have been one in the MLB Showcase. The Miners and Fairbanks Gold Panthers were tied after 7 innings, but that game ended as a tie.
That pitch is high for ball number 2.
There has been a game that ended after 8 innings between Chugiak, Eagle River, and Anchorage. I'm not sure what the story was there, but none have gone longer than 9. And unless Zachary Ferris has anything to say about it, that trend is about to change.
Count goes to 2-2, and if Drew Kennan's father is watching on right now, I'm sure he's watching at the edge of his seat.
All Miners fans are.
We hope you're enjoying it back home in Illinois. Let's see if your son can bring us to the top half of the 10th inning. 2-2 count. Ball popped up and fouled once again by Zach Ferris. Count's going to stay at 2-2. 2 away. Runners at first and second. Miners need just 1 out to bring this game to extra innings.
1 strike. And Kennan can find it.
Can the kid from Dartmouth pull it off? One of the biggest moments in his young summer collegiate baseball career. Came here to Alaska. Grew up in Illinois. Now he is trying to make a monumental strikeout.
Long way off from the cornfields now.
2-2. And another foul ball. I'll tell you what, Ferris is doing a good job of keeping this at-bat alive.
Absolutely. He had a couple pretty unmemorable plate appearances earlier in this game. A 1-pitch ground out, a looking strikeout. But he is digging in when it matters most.
Digging to the deepest part of the oil well is Zachary Ferris. 2-2 count. Now the Oilers looking to strike it rich and win this game. Matsu trying to keep it alive. This ball flown out into shallow right field, and the catch is made by the second baseman, Patrizi. And we are going to extra innings. Miners versus Oilers has been a thriller here in Kenai, and we are not done yet, folks. Top of the 10th when we return. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. It's extra innings time between the Miners and the Oilers. Top of the 10th. Pitch on the way from Mose Hayes, and it's going to be high and inside. Count's going to go to 1-0.
Don Patrizzi is at the plate now. Just a little primer for those who are unaware, as we ourselves were before 5 seconds ago, on how overtimes work, or excuse me, extra innings work in the Alaska Baseball League. This 10th inning will be normal, but after that, a runner will be placed on first base, and it will be sudden death. So no matter who scores in the top of or the bottom of the inning, the game will end right there, which means the home team gets to choose whether they want to lead off the inning or play in the bottom of the inning. You would think they would choose to start.
This is going to be a ground ball right to the third base bag. The throw from third is in time. What a play by Ty Thomas. How in the world did he get that ball to first base?
Don Patrizzi just cannot catch a break. I really thought he finally had a hit there, but just an incredible diving stop by Ty Thomas into a throw for out number 1. Patrizzi is 0 for 5.
The excellence of execution by the Oilers defense and Ty Thomas that time, and a big first out. There will be no leadoff hit for Matsu in the top of the 10th. Now it's Ryan Richard at the plate for Matsu.
Richard is singled.
Here's a bouncing ball into left field for a base hit.
And
Richard aboard, and another single for Matsu. Ryan Richard making the big play in the top of the 10th.
Sorry to talk over you there. He's got 2 straight hits in his last 2 at-bats, and those are the only 2 hits that Mose Hayes has allowed. So Richard, for whatever reason, has had his number. Now Christian Perez, who, as you may recall, his last time up was one of the most impressive performances by any pitcher I have seen all season, fighting back from being down 3-0 to strike Perez out and weasel his way out of a leadoff walk jam.
Pitch to Perez. It's outside. Count goes to 1-0. Mose Hayes, the 4-year ABL veteran, is playing himself a heck of a game, but these Matsu batters are determined and they are fired up, trying to help themselves and get themselves to a win.
And Christian Perez, despite the temperature surely going down, he has ditched the do-rag. He wants all of his field of vision on lock for this critical at-bat.
Temperature might be going down, but the intensity is going up. 1-0 count. This is going to be lined and just fouled to the right of the right field line. Count goes to 1-1.
If that had gone down, that could have scored Richard. Ryan can run.
We've seen that this year, partner. He is incredibly quick whenever he gets on the base path, and we know that he'll take off if he feels the opportunity is warranted. A big 1-1. Richard is going. Here's the throw to second. It is offline and not in time. Ryan Richard steals second base.
Well, it was offline, but it also was in time. That was unfortunate throw from Worthgen. If that had been closer to the bag, Richard would have been out. But he gets in with a stolen base. And a runner in scoring position in the top of the 10th. Could this be the chance, finally, for Matsu to score an earned run in this game?
Richard in scoring position. Like you mentioned, Matsu has not scored an unearned run yet in this game. Christian Perez could help change that right here. A man who already has a 3-hit performance against the Oilers. The 2-1. Perez will swing one high up and out of here for a foul ball. And it's going to go to a 2-2 count.
Both teams with 5 hits. The Oilers with 3 errors to the Miners none. 1-1 in our first extra innings action.
Perez does have 1 single in this game, which he had in his 3rd at-bat. This, his 5th at-bat of the game. Matsu has been unable to get a lot of leverage against these Oilers pitchers today. Both Mose Hayes and Eddie Leon. But their defense and their pitching has kept them in this game. They've delivered in the biggest moments and kept this game alive. And it's leading to this potential dramatic conclusion.
And I think the game might have gotten stopped there briefly because there was somebody in the outfield. He just climbed over the fence, picking something up off of the warning track that had flown into the stadium.
Is that
some
Frisbee
kind of
out
ball,
there?
like a Frisbee. That's what it looked like. A disc golf course is adjacent to the field, we are being told, so that is what that was. A horribly missed shot. Temporarily holding up play here.
I can't argue with that one. They may need to go back to target practice as the count goes to 2-2.
Well, I'm not one to talk. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone worse at throwing a Frisbee than me. But that is why I don't try to play Frisbee golf.
I can't claim I would be any good at ultimate either. 2-2 count. Christian Perez trying to send the Miners to the lead. Hayes looking on. Fires in the pitch. This is going to be a swing and a miss. That's a strikeout. A huge one for Mose Hayes at one of the biggest moments of the game. 2 away.
Perez has struck out 3 times today. He is 1 for 5. Hopefully not the start of a Player of the Week curse.
So now Kyle McCausland will come on for Matsu. We know his ability when it comes to hard hit balls, and he may have an opportunity to do that once again right here. Matsu with a runner in scoring position in Ryan Richard. Miners trying to find a way to a win.
Coslin's 0 for 4. He has reached on a fielder's choice.
That pitch gets by him, and the count goes to 0-1.
Was stranded at second back in the 6th inning. The Miners have stranded runners in scoring position in 5 innings so far today, and if the top of the 10th ends without a run, it will make it 6.
Nearly 10 strikeouts combined for these Peninsula Oilers in this game. Richard trying to play games at second base. That pitch goes by, and the count goes to 1-1. Ryan Richard just trying to keep Mose Hayes guessing.
If Hayes can get this out, he'll have gone as many innings as the starter did, 5, and he has just been incredible. 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, just 1 walk.
He and Leon have combined for an incredible performance against the best offense in the Alaska Baseball League. They had a combined 45 runs entering this game. They've scored 1 today. That pitch goes by for ball 2.
And 9 strikeouts combined. I'm not sure what the best single-game strikeout mark in the ABLs this season is, but we could very well be in that territory here.
2-1 count. Pitch to McCausland. This is going to be a bouncing ball to third. It's bobbled by the third baseman, and Matsu's going to have runners on first and second. An E5 on Ty Thomas keeps the Miners' hopes alive.
Error number 4 on the Oilers, and that could not have come at a worse time. Saw fans in front of us grabbing the back of their head in exasperation just when you thought the Oilers might have finally put away the threat. And error keeps the threat alive. And Nick Ferry now will bat with 2 out.
4 costly errors on the Oilers. It was the errors in the game, the first game of the season against the Miners, that doomed them in that loss. And now Ryan Richard again getting a pretty big leadoff over at second base, just trying to go back and forth and maybe bait Mose Hayes into a throw.
Hayes is taking his time, working out of the stretch. No rush here. The sun doesn't set for another 3 hours.
This pitch is high, and the count is going to be 1-0. Matsu currently with Nick Ferry at the plate. They've got Blake Bouts on deck, the man from UCLA hot off the plane. A 1-0 count, runners on first and second. Pitch to Ferry, lets it go by, and the count is going to go to 2-0.
So could Hayes finally be running out of gas here? I've been waiting for it to happen. He's normally used as a starter as a college player and is kind of a stretch reliever, doing an amazing job. But it's only going to last so long, especially with the cooler temperatures and, of course, the pressure of the moment. Not that he hasn't pitched in big moments before, but this would be an incredibly meaningful win for these Oilers.
And the count's 3-0 now, Charlie. So if he gives up one more ball, Matsu's going to have the bases loaded. A massive 3-0. He put it outside. That's ball 4. Bases loaded for the Miners. Matsu has come alive in the top of the 10th, and the Oilers, with some critical mistakes here down the stretch, it may be enough to cost them this game.
So you got off the plane last night in Palmer. You met the team today. You're playing in your first ABL game. Blake Bouts now you have suddenly been thrust into the most high leverage situation the Matsu Miners have faced this entire season.
Boy, wouldn't that be a fairy tale ending as we see a mound visit by Peninsula, and you wonder what the strategy is going to be with Mose Hayes. Plenty of action in the bullpen. It looks like for now, I believe, at least initially, they're going to keep him out there.
Yeah, nobody's coming out, so it will be Richard at third, who can run. So you watch for if a pass ball gets through Worthgen, which hasn't happened yet today, but if it could, Richard definitely would be able to score. McCausland at second, Ferry at first.
And again, the Oilers would have an opportunity in the bottom of the 10th to match whatever Matsu does here in the top, but with how the offenses have been, it feels like you just need one run to win this game.
Now, since that error did not advance Ryan Richard, he was already at second, if he scores, that would be an earned run. But anyone else would not be.
Blake Boutz, right off the plane. Can he put himself into a book of legends? That goes for a strike, count goes to 0-1. It'd be a heck of a story if in his very first game as a minor he contributes to them winning this game with a shot that would give them the lead. An 0-1 count here. Trying to get his first ABL hit and do it in dramatic fashion. Pitch by Hayes outside. Count evens at 1-1.
He's going to size up Hayes. He popped out to short, or excuse me, he grounded out to short his first time up on a ball that took a weird bounce off the mound. It probably would have gone up the middle otherwise. A weak little dribbler. Trying to get some more solid contact here, or he could always just take a walk. But I doubt Mose Hayes is going to let that happen.
Hayes with the pitch. He again put it too far to the outside. Count goes to 2-1 on Blake Boutz.
Hayes with just 2 walks today, but just issued his second.
And if he issues a walk, it would score a run for Matsu. That would give them their first lead since the 4th inning.
And while the run would technically be earned, you can't help but think back to Ty Thomas.
This is a ball popped up. It's going to be fouled and lands somewhere in the crowd in the concourse area. Count goes to 2-2.
Thomas had that ball almost in his hand, ready to throw out to Zachary Ferris to end the top of the 10th and squash yet another scoring chance. Instead, couldn't get his hand on it. The inning continues. Now, one of two things is going to happen. The Miners are going to put themselves in a position to win this game, or a back-breaking out at the hands of Mose Hayes yet again.
A count of 2-2 for the man from UCLA, Blake Boutz. Curveball, he got the strikeout. Mose Hayes delivers in a bases-loaded situation with one of the biggest strikeouts in his 4-year Alaska Baseball League career. And we are on to the bottom half of the 10th with the score still tied at 1 apiece between the Miners and the Oilers. The drama only continues to build. Welcome back to Kenai, Alaska. Bottom half of the 10th between the Miners and the Oilers in extra innings for the first time in this ABL season. Cole Dawson will lead off for the Oilers as they try to walk it off here at home and get their first win of the year against Matsu in their home opener.
7-8-9 due up. Dawson, Worthgen, and Sullivan pending any pinch hitters. And Dawson of the three, the only one with a hit. He got that back in the 8th. A single, eventually got all the way around to third, but was stranded there. Drew Kennan on for another round after a dicey start in the 9th. He walked his first 2 men, but was able to maneuver out of it. Now he's up 0-2.
Curveball and a nice strike that time to bring it to an 0-2 count. Drew Kennan keeping his team's hope alive. And there's a swing and a miss and another huge strikeout, this time on the side of the Miners. Drew Kennan strikes gold, 1 away.
Well, they've only got 6 Ks in this game to the Oilers' outrageous 10, but that one of the more important ones on both sides, along with the one we just saw in the top of the 10th. Brock Worthgen is 0 for 3, though he has hit a sac bunt that helped Dawson almost score. Also a strikeout and a flyout.
Brock Worthgen at the plate. And a reminder, folks, if this game goes to the 11th, we will play under sudden death rules. Whoever would score next would be the winner in that situation. This ball is fouled up and over the cage, and the count goes to 0-1.
You'll also get to hear from me again.
That you will, as long as the Oilers do not find a way to walk this game off in the bottom half of the 10th inning.
So it is possible that, given that they'll be able to pick, if they make an out, if they get 3 outs here, they might just keep on batting.
And another foul ball by Worthgen. Count goes to 0-2.
Which would be extremely strange. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never heard of teams being able to pick whether or not they want to lead off the top or bottom of an inning. But in sudden death, when first score wins, no matter which team is responsible, you'd think the obvious play would be to lead off.
Worthgen with his 3rd consecutive foul ball on Drew Kennan. The Miners have been in a dogfight this entire game, but they have not let up on their attack. Scratching and clawing their way to stay in this game, just finding ways to hold the Oilers' offense at bay with strikeouts like that. Drew Kennan delivers yet again his 2nd straight K, and the Miners are 1 out away from bringing this game to the 11th.
Got a little fist bump on that one, too. Well deserved. So if the Oilers want to win this game before the extra inning nonsense ensues, Aiden Sullivan, who is 0 for 3 with a trio of groundouts, is their man.
That's a fastball for a strike. Count goes to 0-1, and Drew Kennan is now wheeling and dealing here in the 10th inning. Trying to do it again. Swing and a miss. Count goes to 0-2.
He's throwing gas now. I really wish we had that radar gun. That last pitch in particular looked fast.
Here comes another fastball. It's fouled into the net. Count will stay at 0-2 for Aiden Sullivan, who thus far has not managed to hit for the Oilers. He's grounded out to first twice and shortstop once.
Kennan is high tempo too, just trying to blow Sullivan away.
This is going to be lined towards left, but fouled. It will land somewhere in the crowd after a bounce off the turf. Count will stay at 0-2 for the Oilers.
The Miners have not let a ball leave the infield in a long time. You have to go all the way back to the 7th when Zachary Ferris hit a fly out to center field to end that inning.
This is going to be a line right to the second baseman. Off the ground, throw to first is in time. And we are headed to sudden death in Kenai between the Matsu Miners and the Peninsula Oilers. This game just continues to astound and amaze. Charlie Fellows will take you through the 11th inning. We'll be right back. You're watching Matsu Miners Baseball on YouTube.
the 11th inning we go. I did not think I would be introducing another inning in this game, but strange things happen in the Alaska Baseball League. Just a little bit of a clarification here. We had a little bit of an incorrect interpretation of the overtime rules. This top of the 11th, no matter what happens, will be the final frame of this game. If the Miners don't score, because the Oilers have chosen to pitch, if the Miners don't score and the game ends 1-1, the Oilers will win. So all the Oilers have to do is get 3 outs. The Miners have to do something they have struggled to do all game long and score a run. So it seems like a very advantageous position for the Oilers, which makes sense because they are the home team. The Miners do get one saving grace, though. Blake Bouts, who ended the last inning, will start as a ghost runner on first base, not second, so a little bit of a difference from MLB in that sense. And if he comes around to score, it will be an unearned run by rule, which is funny, but it will get the Miners a hard-earned win to close it out in what would be a Herculean effort if he is successful. Mose Hayes going for 6 innings out of the bullpen, longer than his starter did. And he's got Logan Vaughn, Kellen Strohmeyer, and Drake Kerr, batters 7, 8, and 9, due up for the Miners. Vaughn has walked, struck out twice, and popped out. We've said it pretty much every time he's come up to bat this season, but it's time for your first hit, Logan. Let's see it.
And conversely, if the Oilers can hold the Miners to no runs here, they'll win this game. So massive stakes on both sides. Something's got to give.
Showing bunt, and that gets through, so the ghost runner is going to get to second. The first wild pitch of the game thrown by Mose Hayes, and Worthgen couldn't corral it, so now we're playing Major League Baseball. Second base is Blake Bouts.
Pinch runner.
And they're going to pinch run. Yeah, this is Riker Scow coming on. He leads the ABL with 5 steals on the season, so that is a very good call for head coach Tyler Brunn, the fastest man in the league. Now just 2 bases away from scoring the go-ahead run.
And talk about an ill-timed wild pitch by Mose Hayes. That is exactly what you don't want to happen in this situation. Matsu is some of the best base runners in the league. They can capitalize. And maybe Logan Vaughn can get that much looked for first hit right here.
1-0 from Hayes, and he'll step off. He looked off Soto at short. He gave the signal for him to cover second in case he decided to throw. Riker Scow, the BYU man, was not in the lineup today, but he can win the game with his legs. Logan Vaughn can help with his bat. 1-0. Outside. 2 pitches missing the zone. That one at least went into Worthgen's glove, but 3-0. I think 2-0. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think I missed a pitch. 2-0. Here is a pitch that goes into the strike zone, so a big swing there from what the scoreboard said. 2-1. Mose Hayes trying to make a critical first out.
Vaughn's been so good at extending at-bats. And we know if he extends at-bats, that's going to give more opportunity for Riker Scow to try to steal third base, which we know he's capable of.
Also one of the best in the ABL at drawing walks, and he's 1 ball away from doing that here.
Mose Hayes has got to find what was working for him in the initial part of the game, and you wonder if the Oilers may make a call to the pen in this situation, with circumstances being what they are.
There is activity up in the pen. That's hit well out to right center field, moving on Sullivan, and the center fielder's got it. Tagging and advancing to third is Riker Scow. The throw comes into third, and that gets away. Riker Scow thought about trying to score, but instead rightly retreats back to third, and my heart stopped for a second as that throw got through Ty Thomas at third, nearly gifted the Miners a win on a comedy of errors, which would have been the most Peninsula Oilers thing I've seen all season, but instead, Scow will stay at third, and it will be Kellen Strohmeyer with 1 away. He gets there on the sac fly from Logan Vaughn, doing his job, and the man from Iowa has the winning run 90 feet away, with Mose Hayes now firmly on the ropes.
Boy, that was a close call for Peninsula that time. Great work by the defense. Thomas and Vogelsong both chasing after that baseball. That could have been so much worse than what it turned out to be. Riker Scow, though, he made the right decision. If he had tried to go home, I don't think he could have made it.
That was an excellent throw from the center fielder,
Yes.
Robson, that nearly got him. And are we going to see, is this an intentional walk?
Coach McCann is talking currently to the home plate umpire about something.
They're not giving him a free base. I'm hearing laughter. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think we missed that. But doesn't appear to have affected the game in any meaningful way. Mose Hayes pitching to the Hawkeye, and now thinking better of it.
And wait a second, I think they're going to say that somebody left base early. Is that the call?
What does that even mean? Who left base early? Oh, so they're pleading with the umpire. Oh, so he threw to second to get an out, saying that Scow tagged before the ball was in the center fielder's glove. And it does not appear as though that plea was successful, although Tyler Brunn is very animatedly talking to the umpire now. It has not been updated on the scoreboard. But if they did, in fact, call Riker Scow out, Tyler Brunn is incensed.
Yeah, he's going to argue his case to the best of his ability, and now we'll see what the ultimate decision is going to be.
Scow is still at third. They have not made a signal. So LeBron, I guess, just pleading his case, but...
And there he goes.
He goes. He's out.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
unbelievable.
I have never seen anything like that.
With no instant replay available, the umpires just conferred and decided amongst themselves that, yes, indeed, Scow tagged and advanced before Colin Robson had the ball in his glove. So a pickoff, I guess, is what you would score that as. I don't even know how you would put that in. But just an incredible turn of events, and all of a sudden, Kellen Strohmeyer's got to manufacture some miracle because the runner 90 feet away is no more.
So you go from a runner at third with one out, and you're 90 feet away from winning, to all of a sudden you've got no runners on base and 2 outs. That one single play may completely decide the outcome of this game.
Left that one outside 1-1. Now, I'm not one to criticize umpires a lot, especially not in the press box as I am, but I'm shocked that judgment call after the play was over is quite possibly going to end up deciding this game. I'm very surprised. I'm sure there's more going on between the umpires than we were able to tell with that discussion between them and the two coaches. Here's the 1-1, and that's a cut and a miss from Strohmeyer. How quickly the tables turn.
They're 1 strike away from winning now, Charlie. And with the way that Mose Hayes is pitching right now, with confidence, I'd say he's going for that fastball. Strohmeyer's going to have to be ready for it.
Mose Hayes can complete an incredible performance by him and his Oilers and grab a much-earned win. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. And that ends the game. Kellen Strohmeyer slams his bat into the dirt. And I don't think the following words have ever been uttered in the history of baseball play-by-play. The Peninsula Oilers have won a game 1-1 in their home opener after a ghost runner that was originally on first base was called out after he tagged from second and advanced to third on a pickoff from the center fielder to the catcher to the pitcher back to the second baseman, ending on a strikeout by a reliever who threw 6 innings out of the pen after the starter threw 5. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Alaska Baseball League, and that is the first road loss for the ABL, for the Matsu Miners, the first home win for the Peninsula Oilers, and a massive momentum swing in the season series between these two teams. Matsu still leads it 2-1, but what do you even talk about in the post-game meeting after a game like that, Dylan?
I don't even know how the players are going to take that one. That's got to be one of the most disappointing feelings for a player when you've got a game basically at your hands. And Coach LeBron was still talking to the home plate umpire even after the game was over. Obviously not satisfied with the call. It's one of those things that I think he's going to look at it and he's going to say to the players, that was out of our control. There's nothing that we can do about it. Sometimes calls are going to be made, things are going to happen that you can't change. It's not going to be good, but this is an experience and a loss that could motivate Matsu, and who knows, maybe that could lead them to a dominant stretch of 4 games here against the Oilers. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, one thing I think he might say is that this offense that had scored 45 runs in the 5 games leading up to this scored just 1, and it was unearned. They could not string hits together, and eventually the Oilers, despite scoring just 1 run to their own name, come out with the win. What a game, what an ending, what a start to this road trip. We'll be back here, same place, same time, same YouTube channel. Kenai, Alaska, the Peninsula Oilers, Matsu Miners face off on Wednesday night. You won't want to miss it if it's anything like what we just watched.